the Filipino champions. They're on a glorious journey of their own, and now they seek to make the Sky Kings kneel. Hive, we can hear you. Buzz for AP Bren.
The hometown heroes. And you're right, nice dude. The crowd is buzzing right now. And AP Bren might just be busting.
And to guide the teams to victory, the brains behind it all, the coaches, the analysts for Onic. We have Coach Yeb, we have Addy for AP Bren, Coach Ducky, and Coach Bren. We'll see exactly how they approach this electric series ahead of us. Ooh. And once again, what's at stake here, the upper bracket final leading into that first slot for the grand final tomorrow. That's what's here, that's the stakes.
This is massive for both these teams, right? But for AP Bren first, man, you got the home crowd advantage. You have literally the Filipinos chanting, yelling your names out, and they can break that M-Series curse. No, you should do it.
What?
No hometown has ever won.
You want me to do it?
Do it.
No hometown has ever won. We'll take a look at the roster first here. Onic Indonesia, we have CW, Kyrie, Boots, Sands, Keyboy. These guys have been electrifying so far.
With this lineup as well, this is the MSC winning lineup for Onic Indonesia. They have been on a win streak all throughout. I think only losing to AP Bren, actually, funnily enough, in SPS, in the group stages. But then they were able to avenge their defeat in the knockout stages, knocking AP Bren down from the upper bracket finals to the lower brackets.
Speaking of AP Bren, we've got Super Marco, Kyle Teasy, Flap Teasy, Few, and Ogwin. And in my mind, this is one of the most oppressing teams. Bren, we've got Super Marco, Kyle Teasy, Flap Teasy, Few, and Ogwin. And in my mind, this is one of the most oppressing teams in M5 right now. They strangle all of their opponents, put them in the chokehold, and send them off to bed. It's just their play style on one player, because that is just how they are. It is a full team effort.
Man, again, as we take a look at, to point out Onic here, look at these stats that they've had so far up tier to M5. But I think one thing too that you really have to talk about, AP Bren has been a team that has been really focused on solidifying these objective takes, right? Focusing on the turtles early on, the lords later on. Teams have a trouble to match up with them, but Onic, look at the statistic. It's nearly even there.
Something I want to point out, in the previous series, both teams, 20-25 hero pool. When we look at these two teams, we're talking 28 and 32 heroes that they've been playing with throughout the M5 series. Never scared to push the limits. But who's going to push it a little bit farther today?
Both will have to push each other. We're going to have to see, well, it can't go any other way, right? Every single time we see AP Bren match up against Onic, it's almost like when their fate collides, we're bound to see a full game series, a full series. And it's happened many times before in SPS. Now we're going to take a look at the talent prediction here.
Speaking of full series, Mirko, what are we doing?
What is that?
Usually if I say something, then it's wrong. So if I say 3-0, it means 3-2.
Okay. So I know this is the trend now. This is your thing, right? You're always the 3-0.
Yeah, because I want to see full 5 games, bro.
Hey, well, there's very, flip-floppy there, but it looks like from the other talents, we're going to have possibly the 5-game series, but of course the teams are the ones to kind of bring that to fruition here. But 3-2 for me, for AP Bren. Trex, you're going the other side, going with Onic.
They look good this year, man. This is a year that I think a lot of us want to see if they can finally grasp it. They've fallen short for so many years, and personally, I just love a good story like that. Now, the audience prediction, on the other hand, also on the side of Onic here, all the way down. Let's see what the next page has in line.
Yeah, interesting as you look at that. Here we go. Of course, hey, there's 24% of the Philippines going for Onic here, but still dominated by the rest of the parts of the world, leaning towards Onic.
I think due to a lot of the, obviously the history, the matchups, right? When they did meet in SPS, Onic was able to edge out a victory against AP Bren through their multi-dimensional gameplay. Though AP Bren has grown so much since that SPS loss. We've seen them in the grand finals of MPLP Season 12. We've seen them at ISF as well, popping off with super wild drafts. Heck, even here in the group stages,
Odette?
they brought out the Odette. You doubted, but that's what great teams do.
Yeah.
They silence the doubters, and they make it work.
And I can't wait to see what they bring to the table this time around. But before that, before we wait for this draft to get going, we want to go ahead and mention once again for all our viewers out there, maybe even some of you here as well, there's TikTok drops happening right now. Watch for 3 minutes. And wow, they changed it. It used to be 5.
Yes.
It's now 3. You can go ahead and grab yourself a TikTok viewer chest, and if you watch for 5 minutes or more, you now get the deluxe chest. So we went from 5 to 3, 20 to 5.
Or you could take the best route.
What's the best route?
Watch the entire duration of the stream, and you don't just get chests, but you get our hearts.
Not only that, but you get to be the epitome of greatness.
Epitome.
Epitome of greatness.
Epitome.
Epitome.
Epitomos. One of the two, right?
Epitome.
We got to get a dictionary here, man.
That's part of the English broadcast, right? You need a dictionary with you now. Again, as we go ahead and get ready for this draft, we've already kind of talked about this, especially the fact that, yeah, both teams, at this point, you don't actually know. I mean, there's already an established meta, let's be honest. For M5, it's kind of fallen into place.
Whoa.
Whoa, there's Flame Boys out there, too.
The Flame Boys are still here,
They're
man.
still here.
This shows you the passion they have, not just for the homeboys, obviously, but the passion they have for the game. It doesn't matter in the end that the team got knocked out. Sorry, LaFell, I had to mention it. But they want to see the peak MLBB on stage, and this is what we are at. This is where we're at.
Yeah, this is a part of it, you know, and speaking of peak MLBB, this could be a preview of what's ahead of us, you know, for the most part. If they can, depending where things fall into place, again, waiting for them later on is, of course, Blacklist International after a very strong series himself. I didn't expect a sweep, but hey, we'll see what happens. Now we're going to be loading up into the draft here for game number 1. It's a best-of-5 series between Onic and AP Bren, once again looking for that grand final slot, getting one step closer to their goal here. And we'll see how they want to pace this draft. You can already see the Fairness being taken out, but where are they falling here? Once again with the draft, the bans, Minotaur, Kaja, Valentina, heroes that are constantly picked up or banned out. This is the right course, though. Again, game 1 here, Onic on the blue, AP Bren on the red.
Something really interesting about this, though, just to start off, the Fermis during group stage wasn't the most popular band. It was sitting at like number 8, number 9 slot in most picked and banned. And over the past of knockout stage, it has shot up. It is even more picked and banned than the Matilda right now. It has just become a pick so important to so many teams. And then another interesting ban on the side of AP Bren, something that we're not seeing a whole lot of teams do, is banning out that Kaja, showing that maybe they want to try something a little different, want to maybe try something a little more fast-moving, maybe some, something with dive potential, something like the Joy that is open right now, something like the Nolan that is open right now. Both teams leaving so many of that Trinity kind of open right now from the jungle side.
Okay. Those being open, you know, if that is not a Joy ban, are we expecting the Joy or maybe even the Bruno?
It's interesting not to see assassin bans against Kyrie, right? That's been the main way of attack for a lot of the teams, main angle to attack. It's Kyrie. It seems like for AP Bren, they've decided to go a different route here. I like the Bruno man coming through here to get CW off of a pick that he's been phenomenal on. Heck, I feel like CW, this tournament has just been phenomenal. He has been the highlight for me in the knockout stages alongside Mr. Marco.
All right, so
Open. Someone else is open.
Yeb's going to pick up the Nolan. So I'm wondering, like, does Ducky have a plan here, right? Like, what is...
Phobius isn't banned out.
Phobius is open.
First pick, are we seeing that? Like on further side of AP Bren?
I don't think so. I think last pick
so.
in the first phase.
I think you want to get the Bruno. You want to get something very strong up front, something powerful. Because if you're giving up the Nolan and the Bruno, that is a huge problem. So Bruno, Gwyn.
I think it's a good plan. They already lock in the Gwyn, but no.
Matilda.
They go Matilda. That's open as well. You know, you can at least provide some of the mobility, the utility that Matilda brings. We've seen a lot of playmaking happen from other teams as well, you know, just utilizing this hero, and we know it's banned quite a bit, honestly. So 2 heroes now that kind of slipped through the cracks so far for this first phase.
I love, and I'm wondering, you know, Ducky coming into this game, it's like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to leave a lot of things open and see how things go. This is a great game to kind of test the boundaries, test the waters, come into game one, and both coaches love to do this. We saw it from Coach Yeb, letting the Benedetta, letting Kyrie play the Benedetta. It's a great time to test things out, but giving up the Nolan and the Bruno is pretty huge here. On the side of AP Bren, we do have some great divers. We have some great engagers with the Gwyn and the Matilda. We've seen some of those heroes fall before. They're going to pick up the Rizla. And we got a little bit of some information. Sky is the limit.
Wow, Onic has the highest gold lead difference against opponents with an average of 8,245
An
per game.
average.
That's crazy.
An average.
An average of 8,245.
If there's a rich guy, there's got to be a rich team, right? So
far, Onic are the rich team of the tournament, but AP Bren are definitely looking to take that away. You can see the emphasis, huge emphasis around trio mid-control with the Guinevere, the Matilda as well. They want to get in and get out as fast as possible to secure neutral objectives. And when Onic goes for more damage output, AP Bren goes for more maneuverability. Thing is about Onic's comp here, aside from the Bruno, is it's dodgeable, right? The Nolan and the Terizla, both these heroes, if you dodge away from them, most of the damage will actually be negated. And for AP Bren, this is the pick that we already spoke about. It is bound to be picked up when the Nolan is left open and the Phobius is left open.
So that leaves the question right here, Trex, is you kind of know, all right, we picked Nolan, we're probably going to have to give up this Phobius. We didn't ban it out, it's going to be taken. So if you're Onic, how do you build around this to go ahead and kind of go against a counter already against the Nolan?
I mean, you have a few options, right? You could go for the old, like, overload strategy. You can go for something that maybe heals you up a bit, go for maybe the more sustainable roamer, something like the Raph, or you go for something, I think the Diggy could fit here a little bit against the Gwyn, against the Matilda. If AP Bren wants to even huddle down more onto CC, it could be an answer, but it's definitely something that could get slotted last here. On the side of Onic, though, I think anytime going against Phobius, another good idea is just try to muscle down on it in the early game. Try to slow down Phobius as much as possible, because if he has a rough early game, it can really kind of push him back into the super late game comparative to the rest of the heroes.
Yeah, and with that, Brody's going to be taken out, a hero that is traditionally the matchup against the Bruno, right? This time around, it's taken out. We know how the statistic played out up to this point, so that might go ahead and just be like, hey, Onic, we're okay letting Super Marco possibly just play the Claude again. You know, go into that matchup, deal with that. But then the other thing, too, is what do you put in the mid lane? Onic, do they want to put Sans again on this Novaria pick that has worked for him so well through the course of, you know, just M5 alone? But real quick, too, looking at the Matilda comparison between Keyboy and Ogwyn, how's this looking, Trex?
I mean, right now, Ogwyn with an 80% win rate on the Matilda on the side of Onic. Keyboy with a 66.7. But honestly, Onic hasn't been favoring the Matilda as much as a lot of other teams. Overall, KDA Ogwyn sitting at number 1. I mean, it's a tough call to make.
It's interesting, too, because I'm not sure where he lies now in terms of KDA. But remember where Ogwyn was sitting. He was at the top, right?
Number one.
Number 1. I think it was an 8.8 back before we got to phase knockouts 2 here. So really that Matilda comparison alone kind of, you know, lines up with that. Now, once again, the Claude was banned out. What does this leave Super Marco even for the gold lane against the Bruno matchup?
The only hero I can think about right now has to be, you know, the carry and the Beatrix, right? Those two heroes are still up for grabs. The Khalid gets chosen first. They know that, well, Ixia could be a very good choice
Matilda
as well. With the Matilda, you're right.
Oh, we saw that combination.
Yeah.
Literally just yesterday. It was
I think
yesterday.
it's a given right here,
in game number 5, I believe, right? Against you soon. But you can really see for Onic here, it's really strange usually to see a Brody ban when a Terizla is already picked up, right?
Yeah.
I think they know that AP Bren want to go for offense is the best defense kind of route. They want to dive in, and when they do dive in like that, penalty zones will be used in a defensive manner, and that's when the Brody can actually free hit. So it's actually a good read, in my opinion, by Onic to ban out the Brody, ban out the Claude as well, take any sort of maneuverability away from their gold lane.
Like this pickup, Lilia gets locked in, another hero that has been making waves up to this point. Just how much damage you can do. It's nearly up there with Novaria and Valentina, of course, and then the Tigreal to cap it off here for Onic's lineup.
All right, so they have a few answers with the Tigreal, right? They're able to possibly mess up the Khalid here during those sand guards, during those clinch moments. Another thing, a great way to stop Phoveus is to lock him down for enough time that he doesn't even have time to pop the Demonic Force. And the amount of damage that Onic is bringing to this game, anyone that gets caught in that implosion could easily be taken out. They have huge damage from Nolan, huge damage from Lilia, huge crit damage from the Bruno. This is an aggressive composition right here. Will it scale though? Like yes, it scales, but is it too all or nothing?
It's a good question, right? Oh, whoa! This was a pickup that our old good buddy Renmar was hoping for yesterday. It's going to be high noon here, right? Clint locked in, yeehaw. Super Marco, this is a hero that he loves to pick up. We saw this even back in ISF. It was played with the Claude a lot of the time, so it was either those, and they kind of cornered him into this pocket. He picks it up now in this first game.
Even in SBS, right, we did see the Clint start to be very popular amongst, for sure, Mr. Marco. Me and Leo even gave him the nickname Sheriff Marco whenever he's on the Clint. So, Sheriff Marco's in town.
Sheriff Marco's in town.
So I think, honestly, it's a great pick. I mean, it's an okay pick. The Ixie is decent, but what it can do is it can kind of kite back with that second skill. If the Nolan's coming after him, it does have some abilities of that, the heroes that are trying to dive onto it, to where Ixia does not have that. So maybe that's going through the mind.
Going through the mind or not, we're going to be loading up into the land of Dawn. Once again, game number 1 here, the upper bracket final. The team to start the lead here will have the momentum. It's Onic versus AP Bren. As we take a look at these early rotations here, Kyrie going to be on the Nolan, who has been constantly banned out. And when it's been locked in, teams have had to come up with an answer against it. Does AP Bren have that answer?
They might. There's no other reason you would actually leave the Nolan open unless you already have some countermeasures against it, especially when you're up against Kyrie. Keyboy, very early on, gonna be chunked down already by AP Bren. And this is what Onic will have to deal with the entire day. Every time AP Bren gets a small win, you can hear a big, big reaction from the crowd.
All right, taking a look at some of the emblems. Does look like Sans is gonna go for a little bit more utility there, get some movement speed, get some cooldown, but Boots building pretty aggressively, building sustainably. Going for some spell vamp there could be the answer. So far, we've seen the Khalid with so much damage, and we've seen the Khalid actually win out on top of the Terizla recently. It does become a little bit of a skill matchup, but Flapteezy with the movement speed doesn't have to pick up the Boots here, and he can still probably outspeed Boots here. So definitely gonna be interesting the way that this EXP lane pans out overall. I'm excited to see how it works. And hold up, so wait, it is, we completely looked over this. It is mid lane Phoveus.
Yeah. Again, when that Khalid was locked in, we didn't really point it out, but I think a lot of people at this point, they're so used to Few just being like, all right, I'm gonna throw a Fredrin in the main lane. Hey, I might throw the Phoveus there, and they make it work usually, right? That's one thing, again, when we talked about both these teams, the capability to go ahead and just channel that hero pool, bring something surprising out, or make it work is what gives them that advantage in a lot of these matches. And again, considering this is what AP Bren loves to do. Go ahead and focus on these objectives.
Penalty zone onto the back view. Now Demonic Force ready. Kalteezy picks up the first turtle. Oh! Amazing sandstorm from Flapteezy as well to claim first blood and a double kill to start things off in game number 1.
So before the point that I'm about to give was already shown, having the Phoveus in the mid lane, especially against the Nolan, overall just feels like such a smarter choice than putting it into the XP, because you get to just follow the Nolan around. You get to always be there in these team fights. You get to rotate. So I think it is such a smart maneuver to stick this on to Few. Sometimes it's more of a, oh, we just have to put it there. But I think honestly, this was the plan from the start.
Interesting fact here as well. Guinevere and Matilda combination. It's been picked 6 times, but the win rate for M5 is 83%. That is a strong duo, if you will, between the heroes, right? The way they interact. Look at this already, the aggression from Ogwyn.
I mean, it's essentially a guaranteed knock-up for the Guinevere. You hit the Circling Eagle, Guinevere just travels around with you. Let's say you knock 2 up. All Guinevere has to do is pop the Violent Requiem, and you don't even have to land your Spatial Migration or anything like that. So definitely works out well. And then all of it just pairs so well. The whole mid-net lane of AP Bren just complements each other perfectly right now.
Again, that's one of the strengths there as well. Having the Nolan, you have the Fracture, can help you get out of some of those landing spatial migrations, but still the pressure.
Whoa! Requiem into the spatial migration, into the demonic force! That's an implosion by Keyboy, a flicker to the wall. A demonic force again for the side of AP Bren to find a kill. Sound's not gonna be caught in another spatial migration. They're styling on Onic in the 4th minute of the game, stealing the purple buff away.
Not only are they styling, but this is the AP Bren you do not see all the time. Normally they take it slow. Normally they strangle them, but right now they are slamming into Onic at full force.
The 2.3K lead they've garnered themselves now, the second turtle here. Onic, though, despite all that, still want to go ahead and focus on this, but AP Bren making their way for the fight.
Risky move, Flapteasy poking boots down right now as Ogwin flies by Keyboy. Knocks him out with a circling eagle. Sans is looking for an angle. Calteezy on the turtle. Penalty zone coming down as well. That's going to be Kyrie who secures the turtle. But a Violent Requiem. Spatial migration with a Raging Sandstorm knocks 2 up. And it's a 2-kill trade for the neutral objective.
Was it worth it?
No.
Probably not. But he got the turtle. Kyrie is having to put in extra work to just get these objectives even close. But every time, AP Bren has an answer.
AP Bren is everywhere right now, all at once. And like I said before, you don't see him play like this very often, but I think that was part of the plan. Let's catch Onic off guard. Let's come in like no other team is going up against Onic. Like most teams come into the game a little bit worried. They want to take it slow. But AP Bren knows their strong points. They know they have the ability to bully any team in the bracket. And Onic, for the first time in a while, is feeling that pressure.
Again, as they put the pressure in the jungle. AP Bren wants to work around this lead. Real quick, items, how's it looking here, Trex?
So far, the main thing I want to point out is into this gold lane. Neither of them oh, wait a second.
Another penalty zone into an implosion right now. Comboed in together with a guiding wind. They're able to get out, but the Violent Requiem once again comes down to turn things around. Hugh getting one final shot to the force. Kyrie dashing away, but Hugh is inevitable. Sans getting gunned down by Sheriff Marco. 3 for 0.
9-0 at 6 minutes in. What is going on? The Hive is buzzing, and Onic is having trouble keeping up. Back to the items now. Kyle Teasy is on fire, 4,300 gold. He's got almost a full 2K gold leader, a 1.5K gold lead over Kyrie right now. Kyrie has only gotten in the Hunter Strike. On the side of Kyle Teasy, we've got the Dreadnought. We've got the Molten Core getting started. I mean, it is becoming a problem.
So let's think about it here once again, given the fact that AP Bren heavily in the lead right now, most likely we'll be able to just secure this turtle as well. The third one of the game, it's better for Onic just to wait, buy time, get to a point where you are online. Kyrie has struggled for the majority of this. Sans needs a couple items as well in this Lilia to help pump out the damage. And with that, the next turtle's taken here for AP Bren, and they go right for the purple buff, but Kyrie does not get it this time. Kyle Teasy.
He's feeling a CW now. In that goal, gonna be dove on. He doesn't even need Calteasy to jump on him. It's Trooper Marco who gets him down with the quick draw.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, partner.
And he just locked in the Berserker's Fury for Super Marco. He's gonna be unloading. He hasn't even come into the equation yet. Onic, on the other hand, oh, wait a second.
We're going again.
Spatial migration of the Violent Requiem into the Raging Sandstorm. The Wombo combo once again under the tier 1 to catch Keyboy for the 4th time in this game. 11-0. AP Bren are slaughtering Onic.
And Flapteasy just got in the Blade of Despair as well. A lot of time he won't build that up front, but when you have this much of a lead, you are just gonna hammer that item in. And now that is gonna put them even more ahead. That double combo that they've been landing every time, the Violent Requiem onto 1 or 2 members, Flapteasy comes in with the Raging Sandstorm. How does Onic even compete with that? Using Keyboy right now on the Tigreal, I'm wondering whether that was a good pick. I was wondering if they should go for something a bit more supportive. They went for the aggressive Tigreal, but the thing is how can Keyboy catch any of them? The movement is everywhere, from the spatial migration, the guiding wind, all of the above. It just seems like a very tough game for Onic.
Tough game as well for Kyrie, as in terms of the jungle. Resources go. Flapteezy though, look at the damage, but Boots gonna fight back. Okay, both ultimates used. Once again, Kyle.
Spatial migration, the fracture grants Kyrie is but not from everything else. Ogwen's perfect circling eagle into Kyle Teasy's Requiem.
Again, difficult game here for Kyrie and everyone for Onic. The layering of ultimates is just on point from AP Bren right now. Lord gonna be up, and they have all control right now in this game in the 9th minute, as this first Lord will go to AP Bren undecisively.
AP Bren, 8.8 gold lead.
They're at the average, bro.
They're at the average. They're at Onic. They're passing Onic's average right now. I don't think Onic was prepared for this type of aggression in game number 1. I think they completely got caught off guard. Onic right now in complete shambles of game 1.
Look at that.
I know it's a long series.
Look at that.
But Kyle Teasy feels good.
Kyle Teasy's feeling good, as he should. Alongside, once again, the 10,000 gold lead now. We have to say that we have seen things turn around before, given 10,000 gold leads, but at this point, it just looks like Onic doesn't have the potential to find the setups they're looking for, even with a Tigreal combo. The Wombo combo is not there for them because the damage is just not online yet. Even CW, it's taken him so long at this point to get to where he needs to be on the Bruno. But now they have to deal with the Lord top side and AP Bren knocking on the base of Onic as they approach into it.
Looking for the siege with the first Lord of the game up top. Boots holding it down right now, but the Circling Eagle does come through from the side of Ogwen. Knocks Boots up just a bit. Kyle Teasy pushing some damage as well. Kyrie with a fracture. Not with the fracture, just with the passive alone. Takes the Lord down. Still value for AP Bren, but Keyboy spot out. Flapteezy with a few slashes.
Oh.
A good shove back for the rest of the team, but that's a flicker burnt out by Keyboy. And that's even more value for the Bees.
A good play by Keyboy there. The average roamer may have panicked, hit the implosion. He knew, I just got to get out of here. If I hit the implosion and try to force my team out when we're at a 10K gold deficit against AP Bren, it's just not a smart play. Taking a look at the items, right now Super Marco getting decked out. Looks like he's going to be working into the BOD next. Once he gets out, then it's a lot of trouble.
That's a dive all the way. Kyle Teasy able to knock up one. Ogwen doing a little bit of that capitalization, but Onic were still able to fend off of this defense. AP Bren falling back, playing it disciplined. They are calm. 12-0 and 10,000 goal lead. That's big bounties on the board if they lose their lives.
Yeah, they gotta keep it together, right? Take the discipline route. Now the one thing too that has been pointed about AP Bren in M5 specifically is the chance that sometimes they do let these leads kind of slip out of hand a little bit, right? But for the most part, they're able to keep things under control. Now this time, Onic looking to punish a mistake from AP Bren. Where could that mistake be when constantly it's AP Bren on the aggressor?
We do have to say, if there's any team that could come back onto AP Bren from a 10K gold deficit, if I had to choose one, I would definitely say Onic. They do have some scaling efforts here with the Lilia. We know how much damage Sans can do or Lilia can do if this game creeps on. Same thing with the Bruno. They have set potential with Keyboy. But that is a long road ahead. They're gonna have to defend this now. They do have Kyrie. If Kyrie can go for some sort of, you know, magic Lord steal, which we've seen him do before, it can buy time, but he has to do that on a solo mission. And that is a solo death mission at that, but it would be worth it. As long as the other 4 members stay up, if he goes down for a Lord steal, it could be fair.
Okay, given the fact that this is gonna be another Lord here for AP Bren, uncontested, no entry points, no angles for Onic to go, but itemization-wise, they're getting to the point, right? 13 minutes in, they were quite behind. They're still far behind, but they're picking up some key items that could help them in the team fight. 2 Malefic Roars now for them, the Divine Glaive as well for Sans. That's going to be something he needs as well to help with the team fight. But again, when you're dealing with nearly what's across from you economy-wise, item-wise, it's going to be tough to turn these fights around. So they have a little bit longer. Lord going up on the top side.
You look at the gold lead between the gold lane, jungle, and mid, you're like, okay, it's not that bad. And then you see a 4,000 gold lead between the XP laners. Flapteezy said in the interview, he's gonna sweep Onic, and right now, he's feeling that confidence.
To really put it into perspective, it takes about 62K gold to have everybody maxed out. Onic is halfway there, and we're 14 minutes in.
And the Lord just came crashing down, taking one turret down. Sound's gonna be engaged on a good black shoes. And that's a spatial migration in the Violet Requiem. Baited out from AP Bren. Kyrie dealing some damage with the help of CW to clear out that enhanced Lord in the 14th minute of the game. Look at the defend in the mid lane. Raging Sandstorm coming down. CW still able to dash away. A penalty zone. On to Black teasing. Kyrie jumps into the fracture as well, but spatial migration dodged away from T-Boy. Two back. No implosion just yet. He already used it initially, and it's not enough CC to lock any of the AP Bren members down.
Hey, that held it together. Onic stays in the game a little bit longer.
The way that they juggled that as well, back and forth, didn't lose a single member, honestly, is a miracle in a sense. Onic able to kind of juggle all of that damage, use the skills correctly, and nobody went down. And this is at a 12,000 goal. Oh!
Big shove over. Raging Sandstorm, though, not going to be able to catch anyone. Boots in the back line, finds the penalty zone. Oh! 4 members, almost turning it around, bring it back. So Marco, grenade bombardment to poke them down. One more shot might take CW out, and he dashes out of it, slides out of the range.
Still, AP Bren, you're seeing it happen, right? The further the game goes, they got to respect this damage now from Onic a little bit more, right? We talked about the key items being picked up, the Malefic Roars, the Divine Glaives, allowing some of this penetration to go through now. It's happening here, but still, there's quite a disparity amongst the lanes here, the roles.
All right, so taking a look back at these items, CW still trying to bide a bit of time, but he's got the Malefic Roar in now. So he's got 3 items in. He's able to actually punch a nice bit of damage. We saw how fast he can melt down the Lord. Honestly, at this point, AP Bren was testing the waters in a sense of, can we end the game without a Lord here? Can we do something huge here? No. I don't think they can at all. They're definitely going to need the Lord, which means they need to wait a little bit. They can't try to force this. If they do and they get caught in that bottleneck, Onic could catch them off guard.
The 12,000 gold lead ahead right now, but Super Marco, again, he went for the Great Dragon Spear here as his final item, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, and so no one in nature, right? That does give an opportunity to Onic to maybe look for a dive, a flank towards Super Marco, but for CW, he actually is building towards that with a nature.
Yeah, that could change the course of some of these fights. He also just picks up the DHS. Can have that available. Keyboy, though.
Caught in the circling eagle into the Violet Requiem, into the spatial migration, and it gets melted down, taken out. That's an unstoppable record for Flapteezy. AP Bren pushing their lead even further, catching Onic once again, and picking up, this time still, an enhanced Lord.
Becoming a little bit of a problem here. Onic still on the back foot, and I'm talking waves coming in from every angle. If they can pull off another defense, they've got 17 seconds until Keyboy is back up. He was very important in defense.
Oh! Black shoes, barely in time. Flapteezy able to flicker out with a quick sand guard as well, but the demonic force comes down onto the base. AP Bren have dealt with 2 base. CW's low, very low, forced back, still not dead though. Keyboy respawning back in time, but AP Bren will have an enhanced Lord up top, marching down.
You know, there's something really important we got to point out here. Onic is still yet to get a singular kill.
Yeah.
Kyrie has not found anybody. What is going on right now? Lord encroaching in.
This is a big one. AP Bren looking for an opening to get an initiation few. Getting the shield with a photo as well from the side of Ogwyn with a guiding wind. Now Flapteezy to be poked down by Sans with the Gloom's few. Caught off guard. Has the Winter Truncheon. Has the guiding wind. Gets out. 3 base turrets, and AP Bren decide we're out of here.
They're out of here, and Onic still looking for a kill on the board, and even a turret. They have no space to work around with right now, but one thing's for sure, they're fighting. Their base is fully exposed, but the damage is getting there. Once again, they're working towards it. Kyrie onto his next item as well. But again, how many times can you let that happen? How many times can you defend against that Lord pushing in now that your base is fully exposed here? The gold lead has bloomed to nearly 16,000 now for AP Bren. Flapteezy still having that immortality, will be fine. But once again, it's kind of the waiting game, right? They're going to wait nearly the 1 minute for the Lord unless they can get a pick off.
So it took about 5 minutes for them to move from 30K gold to 44. So for them to get to that point where the gold doesn't matter anymore, we're talking about at least another 5 or 6 minutes. Can Onic last that time? to where then it just comes down to plays. Then it just comes down to the movements on the map.
Circling Eagle, coming down onto Keyboy, knocks 2 up. It's Kyrie and Boots right now, and they're looking for a re-engage. That's Calteezy, who's able to steal away the orange buff from Onic. A retribution used up, but it's going to be back on time for that Lord.
Let's go ahead and think about the possibility here of, is there a chance that Onic can actually get in position to...
Teasy taken low though. The demonic force is ready. Fuel decides to go.
Oh!
Sliding tackle out. Teasy only losing immortality. Sounds gonna be able to kite away for it now. Kyrie's waiting in the midst. Fuel coming down. Keyboy with a lot of damage, with a lot of CC lockdown. Kyrie tries to shut down the fracture as well. Sans still able to kite away. Calteezy looking for one final hit with retribution. Slows him down. Sans pops in black shoes. Calteezy not able to dish out enough damage, and Sans gets out in time. Boots still alive. Onic still alive. 1 for 1. My goodness.
They're on the board.
Finally a kill on the board. 1 for 1. But honestly, that is a win for Onic. A trade at this much of a deficit. 10K more gold is what Onic needs here. But you asked if they could go for the Lord. I think at this point, it is definitely possible because AP Bren has hit their peak in power at this point. Onic is only going to continue to go up as they get more items in. Everybody's essentially decked out on the side of Bren, and we're already seeing Onic start to contest.
CW is back. Flapteezy now. Only now is he starting to march into that Lord Pit. Keyboy's trying to reset it the best he can. Topside wave still coming down onto Onyx base. They need to be able to do that housekeeping.
They're gonna have to deal with these waves. Meanwhile, AP Bren gonna keep the Lord less than half health for now. They're gonna send CW back to deal with it. Flapteezy also putting the pressure. Onyx gonna run back. Ogwin using the Circle Eagle, but nothing can happen just yet. Kyrie though, he's gotta get out as well.
But the Lord, 20 minutes in, CW had to move up top. They had to send him down.
Not a whole lot they could do there. Maybe switch over to Boots, but they want that engage. They want to try to give Kyrie enough space, and I get the idea, right? CW, yes, he's their damage dealer, but I don't think they were going for a team wipeout or anything. They're going, let's buy time. Let's get a moment where we can CC everybody and Kyrie can steal the Lord. That was denied. Taking a look at the items, everybody on the side of AP Bren is decked. Can Onic defend this Mirko?
Not too sure about this, man. I mean, 13,000 gold lead for AP Bren, but like you said, the later the game goes, Onic will make that gold lead irrelevant. Kyrie's dealing some damage. They're actually holding out the waves.
Yeah, with that too, Super Marco is going to pick up the win to nature for this fight. It comes down to this Lord push as both teams poke back and forth.
Winter Truncheon already used up by few. He swapped into immortality right now. CW being brought back to the team right now. Is a regular Sastorm. Will be hours away from by Kyrie. CW pops into with a nature, able to dish out some damage. Kill. The base is wide open, but it's going to be cleared out. Sans in the back, doing some damage. Immortality's falling left and right. AP Bren losing members. Calteezy with the patient by break. Face an implosion, and just like that, the Sky Kings descend from the skies back to the Philippines.
I've got chills right now. What is going on, Onic? At 22 minutes, making the comeback. Are they going to be able to run this down mid?
I said let's dream earlier. What just happened? Taking a look at the instant replay presented by Kadia. It just unfolds here. Masterclass. Keyboy finds the implosion of a lifetime.
Keyboy, that one play. Now the base is wide open. One straight push. Is it all they need? Onic! What in the world was that? It should not have happened. It couldn't have happened. It happened.
It happened here. Game 1. Killless, turretless, 14K behind, and Onic comes back and takes game 1.
We're talking at 15 minutes. 0 kills on the board. How? Nothing.
How?
It's Onic time.
Oh man.
I have nothing to say.
Again, when you count them out, that just happens again. Fully exposed base, everything going in favor of AP Bren, and they turn it around.
All they had to do was buy time. They knew their goal, they knew the assignment, they knew their objective, and that clock was ticking. I called it from around 13 minutes. They need just a little bit longer.
I'm sorry, casters, we gotta take it away, but even for us, that was an incredible game.
22 minutes. We've held it. I have held it.
Look, we're at a loss for words
Oh,
for good
man.
reason, but we're gonna try and break this down. And especially from our POVs, it looked like an almost impossible situation to come back
It
from.
did.
Like, what a goal lead they held
my
from the 12th minute onwards. Like, this should not have happened in the first place.
And to be fair, it's not like Bren or AP Bren are mindlessly jumping into the opponent. It's not like that. It's not a game where they were just throwing bodies at AP Bren, at Onic. It's crazy. But let's break it down, right? There are so many MVP performances that you would give to the side of AP Bren, but this guy, oh my God!
Give it to him.
Give it to him.
The God play at 22 minutes, flickering in to catch 3
Oh,
and turn
dear.
this game around. This is what we call a revolution. This is the moment where it's like, enough oppression. It's time for us to be free.
After the updates on the Tiger, where you're able to kind of suck your opponents into that big bubble, into that implosion, you would think that, okay, yeah, surely that is going to be a broken ultimate, right? But nobody actually used it like that. Keyboy used the dash as well as the flicker in combination with one another so that he's able to land that beautiful implosion at the end. The timing and his patience was just so good.
It's one of those moments where you fail to imagine how he's able to pull it off. Right?
Exactly.
From his POV, all he sees is just a leg.
Yeah, you're right.
He roughly can tell that there's 3 people there. Let's jump into these highlights and really break this down step by step, because I think from the drafting phase alone, we could see that there was a huge priority for the side of AP Bren after the first turtle.
It's all about lane prio for AP Bren, which I like, because what they did was to win the laning stage, including the jungle and the side lane, so that they can actually invade time and time again. They're trying to invade all the time, and even after there's a lot of protection from the implosion, it's not enough, because if you're gonna be thinking about the lineup of AP Bren, they have 4 dives. Matilda, Guinevere, Phoebus, and Khalid, all very good in the early stages of the game.
I mean, they're really hardcore heavy dive, and the momentum that they generated by the 7th minute alone, we're already at 6 minutes, but you can see that the lead increases significantly. And it got even worse for Onic, because as soon as those tier 1 started to fall, the neutering began.
Yes.
Purple buff taken away, and then the initiations coming in from FlapTZ enables them to do whatever they want. And when you think it's over, Ogwen's just gonna pull them away.
If anything, AP Bren just showed us how to jungle choke. They had a wonderful way of doing it. They cleared the waves in the middle, and they make sure that 4 of them will be into that purple buff at the most perfect time, and they will try to just do their best. And I guess it is one of the better initiations coming out from Onic. But I didn't think that there will be another like this, especially after AP Bren secures the Lord. Obviously, Few got baited into that spot. Look at Keyboy. Look at that flicker and that dash. You would think that he was targeting Kaltizi, but no, he wasn't. He utilized the flicker so that he can skewer the other people to the backlines.
It's one of those moments where the genius of it is most people would hope that when you are pushing your opponents away, that's when you're expected to use your implosion. But instead, he just needed to close the distance. He just needs to be close enough to catch you. Now, let's have a look at the item build here, because this is where it becomes the most important for everybody, right? From emblems, starting from the emblems, immediately we see high priority on we need to be able to fight. I'm already seeing a Master Assassin. I'm already seeing a Concussive Blast coming up from Flap.
And it's also important to take note of the Purify that we saw from Mr. Few, so that he's able to utilize this full views to its full advantage from the early stages up until the late stages of the game. So it's not just about the emblems, it's also about the spells that they were able to get. And I gotta dare say, this was AP Bren's game already. Like the way that they drafted it, the way that they composed this lineup against AP Bren, definitely they can win, but you know, it's not as easy as that. When we look at the items, Gideon, I want to point out one important itemization I saw from Kaltizi in the early stages. Even though they lost, I think it's still genius. They utilized this Molten Essence, casual Molten Essence and Dreadnought Armor for the first 5 minutes of the game. Even when there's no full item yet for the Guinevere, he tanked up everyone. Nobody can touch him from the side of Onic.
And the best part is once he does start getting ahead, he has people like Ogwen to actually pull him out of these dangerous situations with quick follow-ups from, well, especially FlapTZ, the greediest EXP laner I've seen so far. Second item, Blade of Despair, to ensure that they maintain that lead. It's some incredible gameplay, even for Super Marco, right? Second item, Berserker's Fury after the the endless battle. It gets extremely dangerous from that point on. But keep in mind, despite the rich guy being Super Marco, breaking down turrets like they're absolutely nothing, as soon as we see the Ice Queen Wong coming up from Gilak Sans, the carry of this game, that's when it started to get really difficult for AP Bren to penetrate into the base.
Sans is the only player that I've seen play the Lilia so aggressively against his opponents when being down, what, 14k, 12k, recalling in front of the champions of MPL Philippines at home stage. He's the only one that can do that. That guy's crazy.
He really is. He really is, and he kept the team together. A lot of these base defenses, and especially during these team fights, it's important to keep in mind how they're actually approaching it without a Matilda. They're just trading back and forth constantly, and it's not ideal in some of these senses, but I think it's extremely important to note that when you are deciding on how to approach a situation, and more importantly, once you are that close into the base, from both perspectives. You're looking to defend, but at the same time, AP Bren did not want to get caught and get turned around like that. You saw it at the 15th minute, right? They're just very careful with the way they approach Onic.
And to think about the composition of AP Bren, it's not like they don't have a lineup to end the game. They have a Clint with enough range to be safe while taking down the base building. Few was baited into the backlines with the ultimate again from Sans, which again, Sans outplayed so many members of AP Bren in this particular match. And this is what we expected. It's a Few versus Sans matchup. And you shade of black and yellow for sure.
Absolutely disgusting. I mean, from both of these teams, they have absolutely crushed what the metagame is to most people, right? You're thinking that Tigreal, he's out of the meta. No. M-Series has proven that he's worthwhile, and I think Keyboy this time around has proven why he should be as good as he is currently.
Yeah, there were many changes for the side of Onic Esports. I think that M-Series as well as international tournaments have always been like the downfall of Onic Esports as a franchise. Whenever they perform internationally, pre-Coach Yeb, Kyrie era, you know, there were so many doubts about them because they usually get defeated by teams that weren't supposed to defeat them. But right now, they're on their way to the golden road.
Yep.
So far, one step, nearer the grand finals and nearer to get the finish on that golden road.
Absolutely, and I think this has been an incredible journey thus far, and it continues to show why that both of these teams live and breathe Mobile Legends. They're moving their limbs, they're moving their heroes like their limbs. It's crazy to give credit where credit is due, but at the same time to appreciate where we are just humble beings compared to these absolute gods of the game.
I made a tweet actually. If you're part of our group chat in the caster group, I'd say, so this is how gods play Mobile Legends.
It's just not fair.
It's unfair. I mean, how do you even play like that? How do you play from being down 14k gold, recalling in front of your opponents, in front of the home crowd as well, and then still win the game? Unbelievable stuff.
Yep. The worst part, had a single member of Onic died on that base defense, it would have been absolutely over, right? If they were missing a single ultimate, AP Bren could have closed out that game. Had Super Marco had the space to hit that crystal, this game would have already been done for the side of AP Bren. But with that being said, we've got some content to show you guys. This is going to be interesting, right? We've got an entire series left to go, so take a breather and enjoy.
This is
Mobile Legends and
yeah, so old.
you play this?
Yeah. There's a spell back then that like silence the tower.
Silence the tower?
Yeah, I think I played that, but it's in 2017, right?
Yeah, you have to only give me one answer, right?
Okay.
Okay. I think it's Laila. Laila. Of course. Laila.
What?
Season 1 Laila.
That's so different.
What do we get?
Outfit is less skin.
Texana?
Sana or Eudora?
Texana, the face like.
Oh, alright. Eudora.
I started to play with Kadita.
I play Laila.
I play Laila also.
Why did you pick that hero?
Laila is like the default hero that start in the tutorial.
Random.
Random.
I don't know.
I entered the pro scene when MPL Season 1 started in the Philippines, like way back 2018. The thing who inspires me the most is my brothers and my cousins. They're the one who introduced Mobile Legends to me.
How do you know the game?
Yeah, we don't know together and playing. I think 2016. I see Season 1 Mobile Legend ID. I see Rec.
Blood God.
Yeah, look so strong, so good playing. And then I want to go to beat them.
Now you're better than Rek.
No. What change do you see in the game?
Who do you want to answer?
Of course, you.
Me. I think the major changes I see in the game is playstyle. Like then it was like more micro, just individual. Now it's more on teamwork.
Yeah, I think the same.
Yeah, same.
Which is your favorite patch?
My favorite patch is in M3 with the supports.
M3 is like marksman meta, right?
And marksman and
yeah.
support meta in Alici because I like
Nathan,
playing
like that.
Alici. When I almost die, oh my god, have a support here to help me.
How about you?
Yeah, same.
Okay. Your experience in your first pro team.
Experience in my first pro team, just like brotherly, more focused in the outside game rather than in game. Like when we have mistakes in game, we don't trail each other because we don't want to hurt each other feelings. But now you cannot do that because your team will not improve.
My first team, Onic. I think before that's not good. I just joined, right? And then so many like internal problems, and then I cannot see the positive. And then but slowly more good.
Trust the process.
Yeah, just trust the process. Nice.
For me, my jungler would be Carl TZ. For tank, I pick you, Kiboy. Yeah. Mage, I want Odil. For gold, Kelra. Explain would be Edward.
I think my team is Edward, Kyrie, Sans, Kidboy, Kyler.
How about you, bro?
I think first XP Edward, Kelra, Kyle, Pale,
Yeah,
Baloiski.
No, Baliski.
the best for us, guys.
Natalia Romo. For me, I think as long as my teammates and coaches are trusting me and I can see that I can still like compete in a high level, I'll just continue playing.
In my opinion, I will continue my life with pro player because I like playing Mobile Legends. And you?
I think if I can still playing like before, I have like for my
Injury?
hand, yeah,
Yeah, you have injury.
my muscles, something like that. If I have team, I still play.
First of all, I would like to say to the mobile community, so not be that toxic in saying bad words against players because some players take that seriously, so be kind about your words.
Keep up supporting us.
Just keep support us. Don't toxic, okay?
Okay.
And welcome back once again to the matchup here. I think we had plenty of time to digest what just happened. You know, unfortunately, you guys can't see it unless you're here, but
talk about it yet.
yeah, no, you
Don't spoil it.
no, it's not going to you.
Spoil it. Eventually it will.
Okay,
Eventually.
okay,
Eventually, I'll
We'll
work
wait for the late
time.
game.
Just keep it there forever, late game.
Whole time.
Just like Onic, they had a tie grill forever.
Ever.
Forever
actually.
in that game. They were waiting for one moment. They banked on that one moment, and they got the game with one moment.
And that's what I'm doing right now.
That's what he's doing right now, so he's going to keep it together.
Banking on that one.
You're doing the
camera
key
shot.
boy?
He's the key boy.
Pulling the key boy with the bees.
I just have no idea, by the way. I think Onic really hates play-by-play casters, right?
I don't know,
Game
man.
one makes me almost lose my voice.
You still have plenty of casting to do, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to keep it together,
We got
just like Trex.
4 more games. You got to play for the late game, bro.
I
You're the
have
key
to.
boy.
But I had to do that justice, man. What was that?
I don't know. Like, I'm still thinking about it, actually. And I even feel like, you know, on the analyst stand, like, they broke it down the best they could, but really, when you think about it, even with some of those item swaps happening at the last moment there, leaving just being able to turn the tables, really, against 14,000 gold is insane. We'll see exactly what AP Bren wants to do, given the fact that game one, hey, they were ahead for so long, and it got flipped so quickly as we jump into the draft. Game number 2 here. Onic now drawing first blood in the series, up 1-0 in the best of 5. You can already see the bands coming out. The Phobius, Matilda, not going to be a part of the picture anymore, as Onic takes that out alongside the Faramis. On the flip side, AP Bren taking out the 1-1. Valentina, Kaja. What does this open for first pick for Onic?
I mean, the Nolan again?
Yeah.
The Nolan again, right? I mean, yes, he got completely denied due to the Phobius, but that is gone now. But I just can't get over the amount of respect for themselves that these two teams have, willing to open up the Gwyn, willing to open up. The Joy is also still there as well. Last time, that was one of the last bans. This time it is going to be free, so do they want to give that over to Kyle Teasy here, or do they want to go for the Guinevere again? Maybe switch it up with the Phobius gone this time. Do they pick up the Bruno? That was something that really helped CW out last time. Yes, Onic was eventually able to scale. Lilia also opened so many options for these two teams.
Speaking of, strike it while it's hot. AP Bren holds a 100% win rate in games under 18 minutes. That's 12 games now. The last one was what, 22? I think it was around the 22 mark or so.
Yeah, it passed 20. It passed 18
It was
for
around
sure,
like
right?
22, 23.
Yeah,
22, 23. So that's the winning condition for AP Bren. They had the 15,000 goal lead. They just need to end it now a bit earlier, and that's maybe what they're trying to do here with the Arlet pickup, right? They need someone to display some of these members. When they are in that base, Flapteasy couldn't find an angle to get a Raging Sandstorm.
Yeah. Not only that, but you know, again, when you have that kind of lead, it still does pay off to be a little more disciplined, right? Don't overcommit, but then sometimes you risk that, right? Things turning topsy-turvy basically on your head, and that's kind of what happened. Now with the R-Lot, will it solve some of that? Because you also, once again, you have this Guinevere where we saw an amazing game the previous one. So the answers from Onic this time around, they're going to pick up the Novaria. They've got the Terizla. Once again, Novaria, though, I like it because of the fact that you now provide some vision. This is one of the struggles that Kyrie had in the previous game, was looking for his own entry points, right? That's the struggle, but now with the Novaria, that'll help. And there's the answer once again. AP Bren is going to pick up Claude here for Super Marco, a signature hero pick.
Yeah, and something else that can dive into the back line, try to lock on a Novaria, be harder to hit from the Novaria, but because Onic doesn't lock in a gold lane this early, Coach Ducky gonna start closing in on that. Take out the Bruno, maybe even take out another Brody, something like that. Definitely a possibility. CW does do wonderful on it. On the side of Onic, they don't think this Arlet's gonna be an EXP laner, huh?
There's an Arlet, there's a Gwyn, right? Both can be flexed, so
Yeah.
Onic are like, you know what? That gave us a lot of problems, right? Let's ban that out from the get-go
Just in
now.
case.
Take it away from Mr. Flap.
I mean, AP Bren literally played the Phobius mid lane last time, and they played it wonderfully. I would not put anything past them at this point, but looking at Onic also, the Novaria, I mean, it's not done very often, but it could be flexed over to the roam position. I mean, you know ID a little bit more. Do we ever really see Keyboy play something on the more support side?
We have. Multiple times. You know, the Novaria even, it was, I believe, once in MPL Indonesia, but he plays a lot of the supports, even the Rafaela, back when it was meta.
Yeah,
That's how flexible he's been, right? He can use the healers, but also, that has just been banned away. No one moment, one win anymore.
That was when we were again talking about like what is the win condition. Let's imagine here, well, that hero right there, just take it out of the picture. It's handled. Paquito also still taken out, focusing on that XP lane against AP Bren here. Onic still trying to get this favorable matchup if they can. Now, one thing too is you guys talked about it, right? Really that kind of double mage setup. If the Novaria does go in the roam, and then you can still provide something in the mid lane, you know, exactly what would that be? The fact that Valentina's taken out here, you have to work around that. Minotaur, though, going to be locked in for AP Bren for that fourth pick.
I almost feel like maybe they didn't plan on putting the Arlot, or if they did put it in mid, it was going to be flex. Coach Yeb's like, listen, either you're going to play that in the mid, or you're going to have a terrible EXP matchup. And they possibly force Ducky's hand into picking up the Minotaur because they don't want to have Novaria and whatever other mid they choose. They don't want to have Nolan deal with the disruption of, of the Arlot on the mid side.
And this Minotaur was one of the reasons as to how AP Bren was able to beat Onic in the group stages of SPS.
Yeah, it can do work, of course. You know, it's in a similar fashion. You also provide some sustainability. But here's one of the answers, right, for these tanky heroes. The carry's going to be locked in and rounded out with a Grok.
Wow.
Very interesting pickups here from Onic.
They can't go for a 5-man implosion. Now they'll go for a 5-man knockup, maybe.
Yeah.
Big knockup, big damage. They have some early game potential. They have their late game covered. They have vision. They have the whole package here on the side of AP Bren. Once again, very aggressive. Very, very aggressive, but in my mind, I feel like Onic has a lot of answers to what AP Bren is bringing.
Part of this, too, is the fact that, you know, I like the Grok not only because you're looking for wild charges, and how many wild charges have we seen actually secure objectives, right? That's one factor in it, because it adds this dynamic, too. When the Lord is up, you're already watching for one knock-up. Now you got to watch out for the wild charge, right? But also, it's a good peeling effect. Oh, here we go again.
Once again.
AP Bren pulls through with an Odette pick.
Okay, so me and Gideon were brainstorming this a lot the day that Odette got picked up.
Yep.
And a lot of it was, okay, it helps against a lot of heroes like the Joy, like the Nolan, because here's the thing. It's not, it supplies something that the Yve or the Farza could supply in a sense of zoning, but it's constant damage. You don't have to aim it. And she has the dash. She has a way to kind of dash back from the Nolan. And as long as their marksman can kind of hang out in that space, it is a very safe and free space to just unload.
Great insights once again here on both drafts as we get loaded and ready once again to head into game number 2. Onic with a miracle play, able to take game 1 in the series, the best of 5 against AP Bren. Despite all their efforts in game 1, how will AP Bren adjust to even out the series 1-1 here as we get prepped and ready to see the series unfold one step closer to achieving that golden road for Onic here? Looks like we're going to take a little...
There's a lot going on.
There's
you
a
know,
lot going
even
on.
Mobile Legends can't handle it right now.
Okay, they're taking a break here, right? They're going to figure some things out. You can still keep those off track.
Keep them off. All right,
Keep them there for now.
Wait for the right moment.
So the Swan Song, right?
The Swan Song.
Was the song that led them to victory
Yeah.
in the group stages, right? Was it group stages?
No.
Knockouts 1.
Against Geek, right? Who was it up against?
Man, M5 has been a long journey.
It has
Want me to
been,
figure it
man,
out?
but it was the counter to Joy, an
Yeah.
assassin. It's a great pick against these assassins, and now against the Nolan, it's great. But then you take into account the Novaria, that he's going to be matching up in lane, right? That's a lot of range advantage for the Novaria, maybe even clear advantage in the early stage.
Definitely a lot of range for the Novaria, but still, I'm not too worried about Few on this Odette. Like, I think overall, I'm like kind of sold on the Odette. I'm at a point where I feel like it's
After
just
one game, you're sold?
just the idea behind it. You
Yeah.
have the dash, you pair it up with a flicker, and then once again, it gives you the coverage that you want from that type of mage, right? That zoning, that arrow, that AoE, someone that can attack a wide zone of area, but it's not as easily targetable when it's in its alt state.
Yeah.
Comparative to the Farza, you are a sitting duck when you're Farza, you are a sitting duck when you're Eve, and that's why those two picks have not been getting picked up, because EXP lanes are back, baby. They are divers, they are aggressors. Then you also have so many roamers, you have so many junglers that are just highly aggressive, and those are just prime targets, whereas the Odette, in the alt state, it's not. The only thing the Odette lacks really is laning phase, doesn't have as much mobility as some of those other types of mages. So as long as Few can get to a safe spot where the rest of the team can group up, it is definitely going to be dangerous.
Yeah, and I like this, you know, as you talk about this, exactly the Odette, but the lineup rating right for them is pretty high. It's nearly 9 against Onic here with that. And, you know, you look at the course of the game, how things can fall into place. That's where they play around the Odette pick, just like they did the previous time that they picked it up, you know, earlier in their earlier matches. So, again,
There you go.
we'll see how it happens. We get the signal. We're going to be jumping into the Land of Dawn. Game 2 ahead of us. Onic versus AP Bren. It's 1-0 for Onic right now. You can already see the pressure from Keyboy.
Doing some damage. Oh, a flicker as well, burnt out by Keyboy here. But I do want to talk a little bit more about this Odette. In the matchup that we saw previously when Few picked this up, the Odette was also picked up against the carry. So now it's an assassin and a carry, right? Two very, very vulnerable targets for the Odette to catch.
Yeah, definitely very vulnerable. Carry has to try to move in, right? So it's definitely not going to be Carry's job to deal with Few. Taking a look at the emblems, nothing too out of the ordinary. Boots going for the same exact setup as last time. CW does pick up a nice defensive emblem there. Make sure that if carry needs to, it can kind of survive a little bit of a gank there. Taking a look at these items, CW as well doesn't go for the boots, whereas Super Marco does. Super Marco also going to pick up, going to go straight into possibly the defensive boots there. So a slightly different route than normal.
Okay, speaking of, they already get the flicker out from Few, right? Putting the pressure there. Sans takes a shot, Ogren's gonna block it, but you see how this time around, because Kyrie has this type of lineup to work around this Nolan pick, it allows him to farm up pretty confidently. He is a little bit ahead of Kyle Tizia as well right now, right? So Turtle's gonna be up here in just a couple seconds. They'll both get in position. A lot of these still trying to get that level 4, the ultimate's available. That's why they're parking themselves in the XP lane. Both junglers lead into the Turtle.
Clear up top a bit faster for Onic. Kaltizi looking for the setup as well, but Keyboy just pops in at Power of Nature. And a wild charge, and Keyboy gets the Turtle as well.
Wow!
Game number 1, it was 2 kills and a Turtle over to AP Bren. Game number 2 starts off with Onic doing the same thing.
That is a big switch up from what we saw last time. This time Onic bringing the aggression. You can tell their morale is up. I mean, after winning a game like the last one, you gotta feel good about themselves. Onic definitely in their zone right now. AP Bren need to try to kind of get things back into the groove. It's not too huge of a loss, but it is already 2K in the first 3 minutes.
The thing about it too, well, Super Marco is gonna have the pressure here, but you know, when you're talking about the mid lane picks and you're talking especially about Sans here, the Novaria, his track record on this Novaria is insane. His success rate is very good, but not only that, the fact that the way that he plays it to the point where, yes, you're topping the damage meter, you're topping, you know, you're farming up really, really well here, but also the vision that's usually on point allows this.
Wild charge flicker combo into the fracture. Kyrie gets rid of Fear, and that's another combo together. Ogwen wall down, but Onic, they'll take this win. 4-0 Sans, canceling out the recall. Keyboy looking for an angle once again to maybe cancel another recall, but Ogwen just stays behind that turret. We'll try to facilitate Flap TZ's way back to clear this wave.
Take a look at the junglers right now. Kyrie with a 1,300 gold lead already. He's got the Hunter strike in. Whereas when we take a look at Kyle TZ, he's got practically nothing on his side.
That's a wall down. Super Marco gonna be caught, pinched down right now with a lot of damage coming through. Kyrie will be able to give CW the kill down below. The entire turret shield as well into an Astral Sphere and an Astral Echo, revealing Ogwen and Fuse, zoning them away for CW once again to farm up and shove the wave back to the turret.
And putting the pressure once again. Sans is just on point so far. Even with the lead that he's garnered himself, right? 2-0-3 on the Novaria allows him to continue to do this. Just kind of siege from, you know, the safety, from distance. That's why the Novaria is so great. But as I was saying before that fight even broke out, you know, the ability to provide vision allows even Kyrie to rotate a lot more confidently. And even Keyboy, the fact that he picked up this Croc, at this point, he's just walking vision, right? He's one of those vision getters.
He's a getter vision.
He's a getter of the vision.
And another great thing about Keyboy, why he can do this so well is when he pops that first kill, he's immune to the CC, right? So he can go into the enemy jungle without fear of the magic stump, without fear of getting knocked up. And as long as he has Sans sitting in the back lane behind him, he knows he's good. I mean, he's
take the long way.
Disgusting.
He's making Flap TZ walk to his base.
You don't get the recall. You have to walk. That's what Keyboy does. So with that, again, this is very different from the previous game, right? You're talking about now the 5 minutes in, almost 5,000 gold ahead, and you can see just how strong they are in the lanes, right? Super Marco doing a relatively, trying to keep up as much as he can, but still the pressure being put through every single lane right now as they go on.
All right, so 5K gold lead for Onic right now. AP Bren cannot find an opening. I think they know, all right, let's take this slow. We're pretty much going to try to pull an Onic this game. But Onic has a composition that scales so well into the late game with CW, with Sans, with the amount of vision they can have overall. Taking a look at the item, CW, he's got the Scythe in. He's got the Golden Wand in. He's 2/3 of the way to the Holy Trinity, and it's going to be trouble once he locks that in because the rest of his team is,
Major Migration, Val Requiem, and the Swan Song onto Keyboy. Final slash as well, but Keyboy Gets out with a wild charge. That was Kyrie. Into the back of Fracture. Not getting him just yet. Minute Fury, flicker combo. Boots with the penalty zone. Distracting the back line. Open. Barely dodging away from that last hit. But CW is rotating over already now. Immobilized under the turret. Boots taking low right now. Vengeance comes down with the Astral Echo with a few more hits. CW finds the kill under the tier 1 of AP Bren.
Onic Esports goes from getting caught off guard to completely responding, finding a kill, and almost a tower for themselves.
Oh, Keyboy.
Are going to be able to make it another one?
That's a knockup, but Keyboy's still chasing. He's chasing.
He's hungry.
Few gets the dash. Super Marco gets Few out, but all that. While that was happening, Onic took what?
Whoa!
With a wall onto Few.
You cannot recall right now if you're AP Bren because there's a Gator hunting you down.
Final slash in the Valor Requiem, but Keyboy just charges wildly back.
He's not even stressed about it. Keyboy's like, it's okay, you can knock me up for a second, I'm good. I just wild charge away. No problems.
And now, Onic are at their average.
This is the average, right? But now it's only 7 minutes in. It's kind of crazy to think about what that gold average is that they have leading into M5, now the 8.4K ahead. And it's flipped around. It's weird, right? You're 7-0.
Is this what these games are going to be, essentially? We're just going to go back and forth, each team starting the game off with a 10K gold lead.
And then one moment that changes everything.
Is that the possibility here?
That is a possibility.
It's one moment.
It's one moment.
If you had.
Shout out.
Moment.
Shout out
One
to Yasi.
shot.
All right, taking a look at the items once again. Few just getting that first item in. This is a problem, right?
This is.
We saw the same thing from AP Bren last time, but I would argue that AP Bren has a slightly worse composition to try to pull off what Onic did last time. And AP Bren didn't have the scaling capabilities that Onic has this time. CW is just getting involved into these team fights. It's only been a few minutes. And now that they're grouped up, now that they're ready to push in, it's going to present more and more of a problem.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it too, right? The fact that we talked so much about this Odette pick, but unfortunately for the game, it's really just been stopped, right? You really haven't been able to see the Swan Song do anything just yet. You see AP Bren dealing with the siege from a distance, and once again, why that Novaria pick was so great. It was so crucial for the game plan here for Onic as they approach this game. Even with that, right, you need, you know, when we looked at the comparison, as this Lord is just going to be taken uncontested for Onic, when you looked at the comparison, right, the lineup power was in favor of AP Bren.
Yep.
But they have not been able to execute the lineup that they've drafted. Again, looking at Novaria here, this is why teams love this hero, and they pick it up, not only for the vision, but the insane damage early on from safety, essentially.
Yeah, and the vision just supplies so much. I mean, especially when you have a lead overall, that is when you can really just start to get the noose around the neck, right? That is when you can really just start to keep AP Bren exactly where you want them at all times. Onic really starting to close in now.
Wow.
Gonna try to take this tier 2, and AP Bren can do nothing about it.
Rose Gold Meteor built up for CW as well, so if the Swan Song does get utilized into the back, get CW, he'll still be able to survive it. 3-man Astral Echo as the Lord marches down bottom lane. This time with the first Lord looking for a one-base turret. Final smash flicker combo. Not going to be able to connect right now. CW free hits. Keyboy in the back. This might be the zone into the wild charge. Keyboy taking low. Swan Song and the Midas Fury. Boots caught in enemy territory. 1v4, but Lord was able to deal with the base turret. Now Super Marco's chasing Boots, but Boots is unkillable. He just walks out of there.
The body of Smith. The BOS.
The body of Boots.
The body of
Bob.
Boots. The Bob. That's what worked there. The
So
Bob.
I have to say, still almost worth it, honestly, for Onic. At this point, when you're that far ahead, you can toss a body under the tower as long as you get the tower. Onic, if they want to try to close this out quick, they have to make sure those towers go down. Kyrie just stole the orange buff?
Yes, he did.
Looks like it. He's having a much better game this time around. Kyle Teasy, on the flip side, struggling this time, right? Even with the same pick, but really it's that lineup. It's the lineup difference here for Onic this time around, and now they're the ones, right? With the 13,000 gold lead. So really, if you're trying to think about it, as they get ready is Onic the team to just go ahead, slowly kind of whittle down the defensive of AP Bren here until that next Lord. And at the same time, they still have the tools to actually force a fight, even if it's just Sans. Given the vision, poking them down like that.
Oh my God. He
Close
gets out very, very close. Are you telling me Onic want to go for the siege
do.
without a Lord? That they do in the mid lane. Baser are going to be taken down. Boots, penalty zone, locking him down. Wild charge, Keyboy flickering back. CW melted Ogwen.
Oh.
And now it's Kai with a fracture of His Fury. Even onto the blazing new evidence. A double kill for Kyrie, and Super Marco is forced back. Flapteezy falls. Game number 1, they ended it in 23 minutes. Game number 2, they're looking for the end in the 11th minute. No mini waves, they have to back up. Super Marco defending with 1 H1 member. 11-1, what the heck?
Another what the heck moment for Onic. A drastic difference from game 1, calm and collected.
Wow.
They ended quickly, 2-0 in the series.
The stadium is filling up by the minute. More and more people are flooding in to watch this series. Onic wins game 1 in 22. They cut that in half for game number 2. 11 minutes. They did not pull what AP Bren folded last game.
11 kills, 11 minutes, 1 kill. AP Bren. There's a lot of ones.
There's a whole lot of ones. This time around, we're gonna have to have this broken down further with our analysts. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, Naisu. It's now our time to break down the game once more, and this time a little bit more straightforward. But even so, at least now we're seeing new win conditions, and at the very least, some important win conditions here.
And the most important win condition though, for the side of Onic, the way that they drafted is to win the laning stage. You can see that when they pick up the Nolan, we know that this is a hero that can, you know, outspeed almost any jungler out there when it comes to farming speed. But there wasn't any kind of invasion that happened coming from the side of AP Bren. Now, if you're gonna be looking at the side lanes, Teresa versus Arlott, that lane's a wash. You know, it's
not happening.
It's not happening. But carry going up against the Claw, we know that traditionally carry wins versus the Claw, especially if you know the matchup so well. And then if you're gonna be looking at the mid lane, that is when AP Bren can be seen as very, very slow. You can see Odette plus the Minotaur. If you compare that to Grok and the Varya, man, your lane prio is heavily tilted towards Onic. And that guy again is the MVP.
I mean, you gotta give it up to Keyboy. This guy, he really, on this Grok, it's so good to see these traditional picks start to come back into this particular game, because not only is he giving vision, but he's really emphasizing the mistakes of AP Bren. Oh, you make too much of a mistake in your lane, I'm gonna make you walk back from tier 1 to tier 2 till your base.
Yeah, I think the way that they drafted it was so good. I gotta give big props to the coaching staff of Onic Esports for identifying this good hero, because we know that there's no Grok killer yet in the side of AP Bren. Arlott, Guinevere, Claude, and Minotaur, they won't be able to actually contest this Grok. And now, if you're looking at the Grok, it counters many members on the side of AP Bren, particularly this Claude. In the team fights, it can be used to cancel the Blazing Duet, but at the same time, in the laning stage, you have so much vision together with the Novaria. The vision and information that you can get from Onic off the roof. And then, Keyboy just steals the turtle.
I mean, once we jump into these highlights, it becomes clear how the comp is actually moving faster than it's supposed to, right? And that's something that I don't think that AP Bren was able to kind of keep up with, especially with the few, again, these are minor mistakes being emphasized by Keyboy. Hey, slow down for a moment. I'm going to cancel a couple of key abilities, waste your resources, and immediately after that, you have reinforcements from Sans to ensure that it stays that way.
What I noticed from Onic when you watch them during their MPL region is their, I call it the Avenger-esque kind of gameplay, where somebody goes in with a superhero landing, somebody one-ups that guy, and then another superhero landing. You can see that with Keyboy and Boots, and then Kyrie. It's like a fashion show, but for their skills.
A fashion show for their skills. Well, let's break it down now that we've got the post-game stats here up online. And more importantly, when we are looking through these emblems, we start to see the small, subtle differences between all of them, really.
Okay. Yeah, well, for example, we can see the Grok going in for tanky emblems, naturally, but now because of the changes in the Wilderness Blessing, you would prio that if you are actually the Grok. And interestingly, Keyboy went for the Concussive Blast. Typically, we know that you go for what? Maybe defense, maybe Quantum Charge, right? But Keyboy, he understood the situation. They need to clear the lanes faster than their opponents. And in the first few minutes of the game with this emblem, you know that they are very, very quick at clearing that lane together with the Novaria, and then they leave that lane so that he now can get into the other lanes or maybe the jungle to supplement the vision for the side of Onic. It is actually a very smart take on how to play the Grok.
I think, you know, a lot of people have kind of forgotten how impactful Grok can actually be, especially since nobody can really punish him at this point of time. The early game especially has been quite convincing to see that Onic was not only able to control and squeeze the map, but more importantly, really abuse. And you see, again, mid lane not hitting level 4 in time. Support's unable to get there, and they probably should have left that first turtle. Worst yet, even the jungler was kind of feeling that pressure. Kyle really struggling to get ahead.
Exactly. When you're looking at the items, right? But what you may not notice here is at, what, 5 minutes or 8 minutes into, 6 minutes into this game, Kyrie had twice as much gold as Kautisi. And I think that's a very massive difference that happened in the early stages that kind of just really nullified the effect of the Guinevere. The Guinevere without the farm cannot tank, and a Guinevere that cannot tank for you is, you know, non-factor.
Yeah, and again, it's just hard to engage when your life is put at risk all the time. But let's not forget about the rich guy. By 7 minutes into the game, double the gold and farm of the Claude himself. And that is such a big win for him. Not only did he crush the lane, but now he has scaled far past the point that he should be allowed to, especially against an Odette on the other side. He shouldn't be able to participate in these fights, and yet they were still able to make it happen. The carry going over to Sans only naturally.
Yeah, the post-second turtle rotation that you saw coming out from Onic was actually genius. They went into the gold lane, they got the outer turret energy shields. Immediately at 4 minutes and 20 seconds, they are allowed to switch for the XP lane as well as the gold lane, allowing for even more farm for that carry because he actually soloed the outer turret shields up top. So he had what? A total of 2 turrets, technically, and then 2 outer turret energy shields. That's, you know, stonks, as you would say.
Big stonks in a
Big
matter
stonks.
of fact. He even occupied the jungle as well, able to steal the core vault away, able to take River Crab for basically free, and more importantly so, just the smothering coming in from Keyboy down on the opposite side of the map to slow down that rotations. Those seconds are very precious, and they really matter. Let's have a look at the damage taken per second, right? And I think this will tell us more of what we're looking for. Yeah, Ogun was taking an absolute beating, and the same goes for Kyle Teasy. But even on the opposite end, right, we did see by the 6th minute, it became very clear that they were underfarmed, and the stat checking became very evident. People like Boots was getting away with super deep flicker penalty zones.
I'm actually still in disbelief on how Boots was able to survive that, especially going up against Super Marco. But then, when you look at the items and when you look at the time, the Trinity wasn't available yet for Super Marco. That's why he wasn't able to supplement the damage against the Terizla. Naturally, the Terizla can just last throughout the combo of the Claude, maybe eventually be taken out, but at that moment in time, there's just no way that they can destroy the body of Smith of that Terizla.
You just get so much value from the DR, the damage reduction at that point of time. Let's not forget that dive coming in from the first inhibitor turret where they sacrificed Keyboy to make something happen. I think that was a pretty good trade, but you could really see that with all the ultimates piled up into one guy, Boots was able to just walk away, and even so, he only flickered at the very end, not at the very beginning.
And I think if this Novaria also gave so much for the side of Onic, because not only the vision of after the ultimate, but the pokes. You can see Kautisi getting hit by 1 Astral Sphere already puts him what 60% HP. If that hits even Ogwin, not only is he damaged, but he's also slowed down. Then there was even a connection when I saw that after slowing down Ogwin, you can see CW just chunking on the Minotaur like it's nothing. Like he spent the whole combo, the whole duration of the ultimate to clear out the Minotaur, and that's unprecedented, you know.
I mean, when they have that much vision as they had, you could see that the raw confidence in the decision making from Onic was just very, very clean, very crisp, and more so without fear. With all the variables taken into account, there's nothing much that they have to do. With that being said, it looks like we've got something happening down by the stage with our host. So we're going to be throwing it over. Mara, what's going on there?
Oh, it is intense right here by the stage. And joining me here today from Todak, we have Moon and Chiku. And of course, we're gonna have our translator, Lafel, helping us out with this. Chiku, Moon, this is very intense. Who are you rooting for?
Saya Onic lah.
He said, oh my God, it's so loud. He said he's supporting Onic because game number 1, even though Onic was like,
Oh, wow.
but then when Onic fight back,
Oh, okay.
that's why he's supporting Onic.
Was that accurate?
That's true.
That was accurate. Okay. In Malaysia, it's just a few words, but there's really a lot of emotions. Okay, Moon, who are you rooting for? He's rooting for Onic.
Kalau saya pilih Bren.
He said he's supporting AP Bren because AP Bren, they're bussing. They lose 2 games, but they're gonna come back.
Did you feel that intense?
Yeah, I
That
feel it, I
intense?
feel it.
Okay. You are Onic, you are Bren. Okay, we're gonna settle this, okay? You're gonna battle each other with facts. Why you think Onic and Bren is gonna win? Okay, Chiku, you go first. Why?
Kalau saya sebab Onic terlampau kuat lah untuk sekarang. And saya nak Indo vs PH kat final.
My boy Siku,
Oh, okay.
he said Onic too strong. He
Onic too
said
strong.
he want to see Indo-Philippines in the grand finals.
Oh, okay.
Hoo-ha!
Hoo-ha. Did you say hoo-ha?
Yes.
You said hoo-ha. Let me hear you say hoo-ha. Let me hear you. Let me hear it. I didn't hear
Hoo-ha.
it. Okay, there. Okay, there you go. I thought I missed it. Okay, why do you think Bren is gonna win?
Sebab Bren pernah menang MC Series juga, so dorang ada mentality tu.
Let me go over here. My name is Zachary. Chiku, you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you don't know what you're talking about.
AP Bren won M Series before. They have the knowledge. They have the experience. They have the manpower. They have the bees.
Oh,
Damn, Lafel!
is that right?
Yeah, that's
Can
what I
you
said.
say that again
What?
with the same expressions?
Cannot.
Can I,
Cannot.
even just one? Come on.
Mana tadi Lafel?
The way you said it. Okay, there you go. Okay, well, what do you have? What do you have about Onic? What else?
Saya rasa tak ada apa-apa kot sebab saya dah tahu dah game ni 3-0.
He said, words do not explain what I feel about Onic. They're gonna win 3-0. Do you know why, Mara? He said,
Why?
Watashi wa Chiku desu. Chiku knows the future.
You see the future.
He see the future.
What's in the future?
3-0.
Oh. Okay, he said that you said words cannot explain. Can you show us through actions?
Cannot.
No, can you show us through action? Show us through action. Show it.
3 Onic 0.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. You
Sorry.
cheering for Bren. I don't think we're gonna let that pass. What do you have to say to Chiku?
Tak tahulah, tapi bagi Lapel lah cakap kat Ciku. Lapel, settle.
Moon said, hey, shut up.
Oh, okay. If we have any final messages to the people that are watching right now, what do you want to let them know? Chico.
Untuk semua fans, keep support korang punya team, tak kisahlah team mana pun, and cuba jangan toxic lah sebab ini melibatkan negara. So support negara korang.
Thank you everyone for supporting N5. Keep on supporting your favorite teams and be as friendly as Chiku. Thank you very much.
I felt that was very accurate. Okay, Moon, what do you have to say?
Nak cakap good luck, all the best, and yeah, tu je lah.
All the best.
Oh wait, he said it in English, never mind.
Okay. Okay, what, do you want to say anything else? He said some stuff that...
He said
thank you to my wife, his wife, not my wife. And I love, he love his wife, I love my wife.
Oh.
Ken, and do your best.
Do your best to be great. And the teams are gonna be better than great. And we're gonna go back to game number 3. Casters, pasok.
Once again, thank you so much to our guest there. Great translation. I think we all need a LaFell in our lives to translate.
It's always great to have a guy who's fluent in Japanese, man. And LaFell is the most fluent in Japanese, the most fluent that I've met ever.
Trex, by the way, this is your
Yes.
moment.
What are you talking about?
Do it, bro.
What?
There it is. Again, supporting the beast.
I mean,
But you predicted Onic, bro.
Did.
I'm a lover of mobile legends, like I think everybody in this crowd is. We want to see a great series.
Yes.
We want it to go the long way. I don't want to go home early tonight. I want to see LaFell happy. He's a happy guy.
Pretty happy.
You know what makes us happy? A 5-series upper bracket finals. So for the next 2 games, I'm a B, baby.
By the way, greatest talent.
I don't think this is greatest talent.
talent.
Only the greatest talent does whatever he wants.
Greatest talent, LaFell. Take care.
He does whatever he wants, man. That was not scripted. Seriously, he just walked up here. He's unhinged.
He's part of the show. Hey, we're having a good time. Now, once again, we have to bring it back, right? What's ahead of us? We have to focus on the possibility that this might be a sweep. But for everybody watching,
Don't even say that word.
Hey,
don't even
Ollie,
say
don't
that
say the
word.
S word.
Don't say the S word.
Not here.
Don't do it.
all right, just 5 games. Anyway, for everybody watching online, please do give us your feedback about your experience through this QR. There's a QR now on your screen. Check it out. Go ahead, scan it the way you scan QR codes. Give us your feedback. It means a lot to us, of course, for improving as we move on forward. Again, speaking of the milestone yesterday, M5, we had the 500th game yesterday, so we continue on leading forward, and it is important as you guys are a part of that journey with us. Now, like we said, let's bring it back to the match. Game 3 upon us. This is the weird part, right? Game 1 and Game 2 was quite different for this whole series.
I'm honestly trying to rack my brain for what exactly Onic can do here. They had such a great draft, such a great game in game number 1, but still weren't able to pull it off. And then game 2, Onic completely destroys them. So do they get back to the basics? Before that, we got the pressures on Onic.
Yeah, love this. Again, this is from AP Bren's coach, Bren here. Actually, there's really no pressure because from the past year and this year, we've played in a lot of tournaments, and most of the time, we're the tournament favorites. I think the pressure is on Onic because they've only played 2 major tournaments so far. These are some heavy words from Coach Bren.
Well,
Bren.
maybe he cursed himself because you know what pressure makes, right?
What?
Pressure makes diamonds. And right now, Onic are as hard as diamonds, and they are cutting through the glass of AP Bren.
I did not expect that. That was so good.
Yeah,
Yo,
good job. It must be the...
it must be the buzz.
It's the buzz. I'm taking in all the buzzes right now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
You know they talk and dance, right?
They talk and dance?
Yeah,
too
bees,
bad that
bees
they're-
talk by dancing.
It's too bad they didn't hand these out. Maybe this is the channeling energy, that they need here. Maybe if AP Bren makes
There's
it
a few.
forward. I know there's a few, but
You had to be at the group stage.
Oh, you
Or
had to be at the
at
groups.
the EVM to get these.
That's true.
Someone came up to me and said, "You're a B now."
I think I said it to
And
all
they
of
gave
us.
these, man.
I think I got it too.
I think I got
Yeah.
one too. I just didn't bring it along
I
with
thought
me.
I was special. Damn.
You are. Today you are. Trex.
Today you are. You're the only one that brought it to the venue.
To the venue.
And the bees love you for it, man.
Again, we have to think. I want to reel it in and ask you guys as we wait for the draft. Speaking of draft, we're going to be jumping into it. Game 3, and I want to leave this question with you. The Odette pick, we saw it work wonders before. This time it didn't really work out. So are we seeing the flip-flop of sides here? And also priority-wise, AP Bren, what do they go for against this lineup from Onic after seeing a devastating loss in game 2? What are the adjustments here? Bands already coming forward. Faramis, Fovius, Matilda, still Onic on the blue, AP Bren on the red. Again. They want this.
So I was going to start off with saying maybe ban out the Nolan, force Onic to change things up a little bit, right? but they do not. Instead, AP Bren take the difference here. They're gonna put Few on the Novaria, still pick up the R-Lot. So we're keeping one, we're changing the other, but still, this is gonna force definitely a different draft than what we saw last time on the side of Onic. Do they continue to put Few up? I mean, do they continue to put Sans up front on their lineup? Last time they locked in the Novaria. Bruno is still open as well. Definitely a lot of options for the side of Onic.
The Bruno definitely makes sense here, right? I mean, the matchup is going to be great for CW. You need to put him on a winning matchup, but the Terizla has been phenomenal in the last 2 games. And that's going to be the Guinevere locked in, right? So AP Bren, maybe the idea behind the Varia pick was the fact that, hey, they already picked Onic, right? There's no way they pick this Guinevere. And then Onic pick it up, and then they have to go join. They can't let this go. It'll be banned out.
I think they were willing to go into this matchup, right? You go ahead, you might be scratching your heads. Why the Nolan once again over to Onic while AP Bren decides, hey, we'll take Vision, we'll take the fact that Joy is open as well, and we'll match it up against each other. But still, right, what do we see in the gold lane for both these teams? Really, as we get through it, we're probably expecting some gold lane bans to come through. The Kadita, though, is going to be taken out from AP Bren.
Kadita, definitely a solid ban, something that could punish Few in the laning phase, right? Even once the level 4 spike comes, if Sans plays that Kadita like an assassin, or they decide to, no, now they have the Gwen, so it's got to be a roam Gwen. Either way, on the side of Onic, we're looking at mid lane for them right now. I like the Guinevere pickup, but it's going to be hard to target down on a Joy. Main target for Keyboy right now has got to be Few, and whatever Super Marco ends up locking in. Onto the second phase of bans now. They take out the Paquito. Do they continue to hammer into the EXP lane? They did this last time, right?
Yeah.
Last time, even though the R-Lala was picked up, they expect it still that Ogwen is going to get it, and they're going to force this R-Lot to stay in the EXP lane.
Is the proof that I'm still
Brody being
alive.
taken out here. Once again, interesting ban, right? Really trying to get this matchup. Once again, Claude comes through. So this still, the fact that there's a couple gold laners that we've seen through, you know, up to this point. You have, of course, the Bruno that we're still talking about. You have the Claude, since that's taken out, the Brody. The answer, Bruno, comes up. Now, what do you want to play into here if you're Onic?
Yeah, no Claude, no Brody, no Wanwan even, right? So, what, the only thing opens the carry here. They go for the Herod! Oh man, Onic. They have a lot of mid control right now, but then if you have a Herod on the side, do you want to double down on some more magic damage, even harder with the Lilia, or do you want some long range? Because right now, with the Herod, they lack a lot of range.
Wow.
They go for the Gushin! They go for the dive! They go for the double down!
I mean, it's match point.
Wow.
And Onic never seems to disappoint with their drafts.
They want to do it in style.
They're going to do it in such style. Last time we saw Sans on the Gushin, it was an insane
I remember
game.
this specifically because Mirko had to
Was
say the
losing
ultimate.
his mind.
I had to say the ultimate.
Yep, the incandescent.
Exactly. Every time this Gushin is picked up, right, I'm excited, but also
You're wondering. It's kind of like epitome.
It's
epitome.
epitome.
Right?
Right,
What about
yeah.
incandescence?
Incandescence.
I mean, if there's anyone that's going to play the Gushin and is at the epitome of the Gushin, it's definitely Sans.
Oh man. What do AP Bren close it off with though?
Right now, we'll still. There it is. Kufra.
I swear I was going to say before he picked it.
I was going to say that was the flex.
I swear I was going to say before he picked it.
Well, I believe you, but you took the buzzers off.
Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why you didn't say it.
You're right.
You forgot a buzz, man.
I forgot the buzz.
Well, you're the ones with the B.
The tennis.
Since I know you're about to ask me what I think about the
Yeah, what do
draft
you think
overall
about-
because I have the foresight. Even though it's a chaotic and insane and everyone would say it's a horrible draft most of the time, I feel like I can trust an Onic with this draft. But still, because I want a game number 5, I'm going to say that the Bees got this.
You say they got it.
They got it.
Okay. Well, once again, we're going to see if the Bees got it, if they can extend the series. As right now, it's Onic at match point here. And a decisive game, too, that we saw them. They're going in with a very risky, interesting, flashy team composition for game 3 to possibly close out the series. and get closer to the golden road as we jump into the land of Dawn for game number 3.
All right, so let's be realistic here, right? We take a look at Onic's composition. Definitely aggressive, a huge level 4 spike for almost every member of their team. Now onto the side of AP Bren, they do have a lot, and I mean a lot of late game potential. Definitely a huge win condition for the side of AP Bren. AP Bren needs to try to slow them down. Watch out for the level 4 spike. Watch out for the mid-game spike overall. Few needs to stay as far back as possible. He can't get caught off by Sans. He can't get caught off by Keyboy. As long as Few can do that, it's definitely a possibility.
The Tyrant's Revenge on the Keyboy, forcing a flicker out. Calteezy jumping in with the damage. Kyrie doing the same thing. Turned around, first blood, picked up by AP Bren, but Kyrie, the god in the jungle, takes a double kill.
Very quick.
2-1. Already Naisu.
Already, you can feel it, right? Sans feeling pretty good about it. But again, how does that help?
The last time we saw Gushin, in the last tournament we saw Gushin, it was another San. It was Sanji on the Gushin. It's poetic that now it's Sans.
Very poetic.
Yeah, must be something about the first 3 letters there.
The Sans.
Kyrie, though.
Oh, he gets out. Beautiful dash away from the bouncing ball.
All right, so it's 2-1. Definitely still anybody's game. We're just getting started, but you can already feel the pressure, and so far the past 3 games have been full of this, but up on the top side.
CW gets a good hit, Super Marco taken low, and now someone's crawling down. The assassin from the mid lane. Super Marco has the Purify. Sans not able to find the angle, jumps in and gives CW the pressure he needs to shove the wave, and Sans is chasing Super Marco down. He's making him walk all the way under the tier 2.
Are they going to be able to deny Super Marco both of those gold cannons?
Yes.
Because if so, that is going to be huge. Here comes Few to try to help out. Try to get Super Marco in range just to get something there.
Sans picks up 1. He takes Few down. Now Kyrie against Baptiste with the help of Boots. Keyboy as well. Boots finds the penalties onto the back. It's a killing spree for Kyrie. Dodges away. He buys the turtle. Onic are massacring AP Bren in the first 2 minutes.
This is a lineup that I would like to just describe as finesse. That's what these heroes do, and that's how it's being executed right now by Onic.
And not many teams around the world could pull off a composition like this, and they're hitting this level 4 spike so well right now. AP Bren at this point needs to just be careful, maybe even not try to force the next turtle, maybe even try to just run away from any fights at this point, because they're gonna need a little bit of time. They gotta go help out Super Marco. Someone's gotta get up there, because if he keeps getting starved out, if he's a level or 2 behind CW, it is gonna be bad when we get to the 6, 7, 8 minute mark.
Okay, let's reel it in once again here. AP Bren, they are down by 2.2 thousand gold at this point in the game. Itemization-wise, they're still trying to work on those first items to get picked up here. But still, they can play around that too as they try to just buy some time. You said it yourself, Trex, trying to buy some time for Super Marco. Protect him a little bit, right? Look at the pressure here.
I mean, half of that gold lead is in the hands of Kyrie.
Spatial migration canceled out, but he's gonna be pinned down. Super Marco, Keyboy flickers out to safety, and CW gets out of the Tyrant's rage, not even utilizing the Purify.
Onic. That's all I can say right now. They are all over the map. They have the movement speed. And here's the thing. They can attack these off lanes because they have such great dive potential right now. With the Gushin, with Kyrie on this Nolan, it's hard to slow them down. It's hard to play safe because they can get right under your tower. CW dropped the Zamon's Force last fight, slows Super Marco down. There's no way for him to even get out, and that's what makes it so easy for them to get these pickoffs.
The scary part too is if you're looking at all the items, right? That was a Genius Wand picked up by Sans now. You have the Starlium Scythe on CW, so interaction-wise, magic damage-wise is going to hurt. Even Ogwin.
Zaman Force going to be used up. Ogwin with the time's rage, able to lock Keyboy down and flickers out to safety right now. Keyboy's going to be able to pop that Requiem, but Calteezy takes him out. Electrifying beat. CW not able to find Super Marco just yet, but the turtle will be secured on the other side of the map with a Petrify connecting. Sans and CW turning around once again, and Sans body blocks the Astral Sphere. Flapteezy looking for another sort of initiation, but he will not be able to find it.
Just when Calteezy finally pulls something off there, he goes a little bit too deep and it's taken out Naisu.
This is the, as I was saying, you know, Sans wasn't even part of the fight, but still you can see the damage potential with this lineup. Again, it does take a certain type of finesse to pull these heroes off, but so far, the interaction between them, it's building up, right? The power spike at this point in the game is clear, even given the situation. That's why, objectively, AP Bren, it's better that some of these turtles, they have just, let's give it up, let's go ahead and farm up as much as possible. But see this Super Marco having a difficult time just trying to find the gold right now.
Violet Requiem onto Kyrie's damage, onto Ogwen with a bouncing ball. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, CW gets picked off. It's a two-man dive in the bottom lane. AP Bren showing signs of life.
I love how in some of those last two fights we saw, Onic isn't even worried about the bouncing ball. They're literally dashing right in it just to chase him down, dropping the Zaman's force. At this point, Onic, 3K gold lead, 6 minutes in. It's definitely a slightly slower pace than the snowball that they had last game, but they are just getting started. Hopefully in a minute or two, AP Bren may be able to hit some sort of spike. But look at the gold lead in the gold lane, over 1K into the hands of CW. Super Marco just completing his Haas Claws, just completing his first item. That is a huge deficit, and he's supposed to be the big damage dealer. He's supposed to be the one that comes into the team around the 7-8 minute mark and is able to unload. We are seeing him already rotate down. Ogwen looking for something.
Tyrant's Rage, Revenge as well, used up Boots. Flashback all the way in.
Kyrie!
Oh my goodness, the fracture from Kyrie. Just takes Super Marco out, he pops the Purify, but he's unable to get out of that burst.
So, again, talking about Super Marco being behind, this furthers it, right? It's getting a little drastic here. Oh, he read.
Violet Requiem, incandescent CW executes Flapteezy. And Onic now are pushing their goal lead even further in this game. 3 turtles to nothing.
Okay, back to it objectively. 3 now in favor of Onic. Gold lead building up here. You have to start to ask yourself, where is AP Bren going to be able to find the comeback for this, right? Given the lineup that they have, the Joy, who has slipped through the cracks for the most part, but really hasn't been able to utilize. M-Series Facts, by the way, total kills ranking. Kyrie has surpassed Carl Teasy's total kills in the M-Series. The Sky King is now ranked 4th with 201 kills.
And you don't see that very often for a jungler anymore.
He's been in 3 M-Series, right? Yeah, Onic PH M3, Onic with M4 and M5.
He's come a long way, and right now, he is minutes. If they can win this game, he's minutes away from a grand final standing. Onic is hungry for this, and it shows in their gameplay. Now, look at the gold earned. Kyrie and CW just leading the pack right now. Few, Flapteezy, Super Marco sitting below almost everybody on the side of Onic.
Taking a look at the items here. Once again, the biggest drastic thing that has to change here for AP Bren is allowing Super Marco to get where he needs to be. A lot of times teams pick up the Bruno because usually you have the 2 items, you have the Haas Claws, you have the Berserker's Fury early on, and you're able to build up, scale up really quickly. But this time, Onyx had the answer for that, right? They've really slowed him down. And so if AP Bren, they have to find a way to stay alive for the most part. And that's why you even see some of these defensive items being picked up, right? You have the Radiant Armors here now available to deal with some of this burst magic damage like we saw even previously from Kyrie alone.
And now it gets really tough for the side of AP Bren, right? How do they look for an angle here? It's technically, they have a lot of damage behind a lot of CC. They have Ogwen on that Kufra, who can look for a lot of disengages, re-engages, and even catches around the map. But they need to look for one big combo. It needs to be Onic clumped up together. Unfortunately, with this kind of composition, I don't feel like there's any reason for Onic to clump up together. They're all assassins.
Yeah, I mean, there's Boots, right? But for the most part, he's also just looking for his own angle to entry with a penalty zone. So for the most part, you're not going to be clumped up together if you're Onic. Even with this, the conceal going to be used. They spawn out Ogwen for now. Uh-oh.
1v1 Suns! Solo kills Kyle Teasy! In the bottom river, a mid laner taking on a jungler.
And he's doing it in fashion. Onic take the Lord. AP Bren, is there an answer at this point? It seems so difficult. Oh, another knock-up.
Spatial migration into the Violet Requiem, into everything to take Ogwen down. That's the tank.
This is tough. Again, AP Bren, their backs against the wall here. It is only that first Lord. But when you're dealing with this type of deficit, terms of economy, especially in the gold lane, it's tough to buy more time. Even if Ogwin lands the perfect rage and revenge setups combinations, do you have enough firepower to turn the tide of a fight right now? Holy Crystal being picked up as well. Turrets dropping after another as Onic gets prepped and ready to knock on the base turrets of AP Bren as they continue to take the resources.
Here's the thing, normally this type of gold lead between two teams like this, it would still be doable for AP Bren. But when you draft a composition like Onic has drafted here that is just so hyper aggressive, normally the reason you don't pick heroes like this, the reason you don't pick the Gusion in mid is because it's such risk reward. It has such an impact. But now that they have gotten to that reward, they've been able to scale. They're 10-3, they're 9K gold ahead. That is a dangerous concoction against AP Bren. Take a look at San's build. He's got the glowing wand, and now he's even got the Winter Truncheon unlocked in just in case as a defensive measure. If he wants to go for that insane deep dive, he's gonna have the ability to help himself and get himself out.
And of course, it's Sans here in front of the home crowd favorites, recalling and showing that finesse.
The styling right there once again. Still similar situation, AP Bren trying to find anything they can. You already saw the disparity.
Oh! Spatial migration dodged away from, able to escape from the Tyrant's Rage. Final slash, whoa, by Flap Teasy. Not connecting onto anyone.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah, that was a whiff.
Yep, tough one once again.
See it.
Call him how you see it, because that's the situation for AP Bren. Once again, backs against the wall, it's tough. The damage though from Kyle Teasy.
Zaman Force coming down, Kyle Teasy with electrified fates! Boots finds a penalty zone! And that might just be it with a violent requiem to take Ogwin down. Only one member left standing. It's Few.
Oh my God, AP Bren, this could be it.
With one last incandescence, the Sky Kings have the golden road open, set for them to make the one last leap. There's only one thing that can explain this. The atas langit, ada Onic!
Another brick laid on the golden road as they head into the grand final for M5.
It has been 4 years since Indonesia has made it to a grand finals. Onic have gotten through it. The naysayers, the doubters, they've been trying time and time again, and finally they are closer on their golden road.
Oh, and you know where that brings us once again? The matchup later on today. The work that has to be here for AP Bren against Blacklist. Oh, I did not expect 2 sweeps to start the day. That's, again, crazy how things kind of unfold here, but you gotta respect just the tenacity of Onic to keep things going. Let's go ahead and throw it over on the stage with our hosts for the winner's interview.
Everybody, let's give a big round of applause for Onic. Let's hear the vibe here at Rizal Memorial Coliseum. When I say go, you say Onic. Go. One more time. Go. Wow. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations, Kyrie. Actually, Coach Yeb, ikaw na muna, Coach Yeb. Coach Yeb, dahil sa inyong lahat, because of you guys, for the first time in how many years? In about 3 years, it won't be an all-Filipino in the grand finals. It'll be Indonesia versus the Philippines. How do you guys feel about that?
Actually, hindi po namin iniisip yun eh. Gusto lang namin ibigay yung best namin palagi.
Coach Yeb is saying they're not thinking about that. They just want to give their best.
Yes, as long as they give their best. Look at the results. Kyrie, please.
Kyrie?
Please talk us through that first game.
Wow.
That first game. Talk us through that first game. We all thought it was a done deal. It looked like AP Bren was gonna come out with the win. What made it turn it? What did you do to turn it around and suddenly steal that win away?
Kanina po, mindset ko na po namin, pabuhat na kay Boy.
They just asked Kiboy to carry them to the win. That's basically it. But what was the mindset to stay composed and really just try to get that one?
Normal lang naman po kasi marami din naman po kaming game na durog po kami ng early to mid. So, part of the game naman po yun. Kaya hanggang di pa tapos yung game, kaya pang manalo.
It's part of the game. It's part of the game until it's not over. It's not over yet, but he was saying earlier, they just relied on Keyboy to carry them for that game one. Keyboy, I want to hear from you. And I want Sans to translate once again. Keyboy, that game number one shaped the rest of the series. You guys were down. It was 0-12, I believe, for the entire 19 minutes. In 3 minutes, you were able to turn it around and take that win. There was so much pressure going on in that time. And they said they were just relying on you to carry the team. How did you stay composed? What was going through your mind? Because that game shaped everything. Sans, you have to translate everything I said. You gotta translate everything I said. Take the mic, translate it to Keyboy. Translate it to Keyboy. You translate to him. That's okay. Yeah, you translate with the mic. You translate with the mic. We want to hear how Sans translates. It's okay. He's got this. Keyboy is gonna carry everybody again. All right. Okay.
Maybe just chill and hockey.
Just chill and
Lucky.
Just chill. He'll
Just
take care of
chill.
the rest.
just chill.
He will take care of the rest.
Okay. Keyboy will take care of the rest,
Yeah,
Mikey.
Keyboy's got the whole
enjoy.
team and everybody here. Sans,
Sans.
you really have
You
to
again,
hold the mic.
Sans.
Sans.
I will translate.
Okay, coach will translate. Blacklist versus AP Bren. The
Oh.
winner, you will meet tomorrow in the grand finals. What are your thoughts, and who do you think has the advantage later between both Filipino teams?
Coach, we want to hear you talk with the mic. We want to hear you translate. We want to hear you translate this.
Besok, Blacklist lawan Bren kan. Jadi menurut lo siapa yang ada
Wow.
advantage yang bisa menang?
Grabe.
Galing ah.
Mungkin masih Bren, soalnya aku rasa aku kan udah lawan dua tim, Blacklist sama Bren. Tapi aku rasa masih kekuatan Bren. Jadi mungkin ada chance Bren yang ketemu kita besok.
San said he thinks Bren will win because he tried versus Bren and Blacklist, right? And he thinks Bren is more stronger.
Okay, that's a great challenge.
So that means, how confident are you if you were able to sweep Bren today? How confident are you that you're going to sweep Blacklist International?
Since you swept Bren and you feel that you're gonna see Bren in the grand finals, so do you think that you can bring this home? Yeah, because he said that pakiramdam niya Bren ang papasok. Swinip ninyo yung Bren.
How confident are you that you're gonna sweep Bren again? My apologies.
Jadi lu ngerti? Jadi dia tanya lu kalau apa ya? Lu tahu confident kan? Kalau lawan Bren lagi gimana?
Ya pasti sangat confident buat besok juga. Tapi ya pasti kasih yang terbaik aja buat besok. Kita pasti bisa champion. Wait.
Sun said he don't know, but he will just try his best tomorrow.
And final message to all the fans. Si Kapitan.
Cap.
Kapitan.
Cap, go ahead, Cap. Invite everyone to catch the finals tomorrow, the grand finals.
Thank you for all Sonic and thank you for you guys who always supporting us. I hope we can give our best in grand final. Thank you, Po.
Again, congratulations to Onic.
Once again, give Onic a big round of applause.
Okay, wow.
How about this? We're going to throw this to all the audience.
Yes.
Pick your spot. You
Go
can
ahead.
choose any audience you
Scatter
want.
it around. Make sure you
We're
choose
gonna
a good
throw it
area.
all
Go ahead.
around.
To all Onic fans. Keyboy, over here. Over here. Go. Over here. There you go. Try to go far. Over there. Yes, a lot of Onic fans in the house. Yes, sir! Congratulations!
We're gonna have one more series right after this. It'll be between Bren and Blacklist International. Between the two, we will determine who will face Onic in the grand final. So we're gonna break that down for you and turn it over to our casters. Pasok!
Thanks, Mara. Thanks, Wiggy. Once again, GG well played to Onic Esports, taking a sweeping series against AP Bren. Who would have thought that this is the reality that we live in?
Yeah, it kind of hurts, being part of the delegation. But at the same time, we're very happy about the results of the impact of the Filipino imports in Onic. At the same time, they keep on telling they don't care really about who their opponents are, what the scores will be. They just want to try their best. And I think that's the main idea of the coaching style of Coach Shep. I mean, I have had the chance to work with him, and that's generally what he wants to say. Stay humble, just try to win the games all the time, and have fun at the same time.
A year-long process to turn this into a super team. Let's have a look at our MVP of this game, brought to you by the Republic of Gamers. Give it up for the MVP, Kyrie.
Of course.
Of course. Look, we got to spread the love here. We got to spread the love.
Yeah.
The last two games, it was all about Sans and Keyboy. This game, you really feel Kyrie making that impact, really showing that, hey, I'm here to put on a show.
Yeah, wonderful, by the way, rotation and the strategy coming out from the entirety of Onic Esports. They went in for the Gushan plus the Nolan in the first purple buff, and my God, you saw that in 4K. How big, how fast they took down the purple buff and then, of course, rotate afterwards. Kyrie in his jungling pattern here, and the way that he plays is, I think maybe a masterclass on how to play the assassin in and out of the fights, always calculated. So many times did he cheat death in this particular game, at the same time stealing away bonus kills like a double. The first one, and again, of course, puts with the play.
Genuinely disgusting gameplay coming out from Onic.
I love it.
There's no
I
better
love it.
way to kind of put it, because in a composition like this, you wouldn't expect them to be this aggressive. I know
Yes.
you want to find the snowball, but the manner that they do it is rather interesting, right? Mainly utilizing Keyboy and as well as Sans as the main skirmishers of the team. And I don't know, I have to bring this up. We saw it with the Ohio brothers once when they decided to bring Petrify. Is Petrify the bane of Joy's existence?
Looks like it. I mean, we could see that if you have that instant stun, that you will not be able to utilize your ultimate, because you kind of need to dash out and use your ultimate just to be CC immune as the Joy. You kind of want to see it coming. But when it comes to Petrify, you don't know. It's almost an instant kind of spell. It is actually an instant animation. That's why it's very difficult to deal with it. And then you have a ton of damage with this Gushan. I think Suns played this Gushan game so well.
With that being said, let's have a look at a deeper look for all of the emblems that we see here up on stream from both sides, as a matter of fact, because again, this was not an easy game, especially if you're an AP Bren fan to watch. I'm looking at the Wilderness Blessings. I'm already very happy with what I am seeing all across the board. But I think the big game changer here, and again, one of those picks that you don't expect, is actually on Jaewei. Mr. Calvin Winata on this Harith.
Yeah, the Festival of Blood, now a staple for all the Hariths out there because you have supplementary damage to go with it. And of course, sustain, right? And then you can see that in the laning stage, it is actually disgusting. He's using the edge of the Synchro Vision as a way to last hit the minions up to the top lane so that he's safe. At the same time, he's trading. Every time that you can see his Super Marco trying to trade against him, he always has that dash, and Synchro, the dash as well, coming out from the Harith. So he's able to trade and then sustain his own lane.
Yeah, even Super Marco was having a tough time, despite the fact that he took Master Assassin, a way to kind of combat the overall lane priority expected to be given away to Mr. CW himself. Even so, he got very close to actually looking for that first blood, but unfortunately, with the fast rotations coming in by both Sans and as well as Keyboy, it did make it a little difficult, right?
Yep.
Let's have a look at the items and look and take a deeper look, right? Because Super Marco was taking a brunt of the punishment.
Important item as well, going for Athena Shield on Kyrie. Every time that he gets stunned up, which eventually he will, you'll notice that he will survive just because of the Athena Shield. Gonna be looking at the composition of AP Bren. They have this Joy, they have this Novaria, 200 euros that deal the magic damage. But this Athena Shield that was picked up by Kyrie prevented that from happening, especially in the latter portions of the game. Imagine there will be eventually a Nolan versus Joy happen. It didn't happen in this particular game because of the snowball from Onic, but you'll understand. Nolan versus the Joy, eventually someone has to pick up the defensive item with their charge for the Joy and Athena Shield for the Nolan. Because Kyrie was snowballing out of control, he got the Athena Shield very early on. After 3 damage items, the defense was there. If we imagine in the late game, Kyrie will be even more scary.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at some of these post-game statistics, we're hoping to see that Ogren was supposed to make a bigger impact in those motions, but I do feel that even amongst Ogren and even Flapteezy, it felt isolated, right? Isolated from the rest of how the team is supposed to actually function. Ogren was at the right place, right time, sometimes jumping a little too soon where you could have gotten a little more value, but unfortunately, Flap just really felt out of place in a lot of these motions.
And the thing with Kyrie, the way that he got the rich guy with the highest GPM, it's because of the rotation and the idea here coming out from Onic. They drafted for the Gushon plus the Nolan. Very fast leashing and clearing of the lane, of the purple buff. And you can see that through the jungle, it was very quick for Kyrie. We know for sure that Nolan versus the Joy, the Nolan is much faster when it comes to the jungling, and then he gets kills together with a double kill in the first Earl. That's why we overload the farm onto Kyrie because of the draft as well as the playstyle of Onic.
And hopefully we get to see this a little bit more, right? This is one of the few exploits that have been utilized in not only just today's match, but even for the rest of the group stages. Is Gushin questionable in the meta right now? And considering what the lineup that he had to face, you would imagine that Ogren would have a better time at actually stopping him in his tracks. But unfortunately with a Petrify, and especially when you're up against the Joy, we are now seeing more utilizations for the Gushin.
Typically, when you go for a Novaria kind of gameplay, you don't necessarily want to go for assassins because you want some people to protect you as a Novaria. Novaria is a hero that scales into the late game and then supplements the damage. And typically paired with utility junglers because you have that vision, that astral echo, so that you will take over the neutral objectives. In this case, for AP Bren, they had the choice to pick up utility junglers. They didn't. When they saw the Nolan, their last pick during the first phase of the pick stages was the Joy. And it kind of makes sense, but Joy and Novaria together, you can see that they scale too much, that there wasn't any, pad or safety net in the early stage, no trampoline for AP Bren to launch off of.
Well, I think this is also the genius of Coach Yeb, right? I think he picked up on one of the few patterns that he noticed pretty early on in game number 2, locking in the Terizla as well as making sure that Gwen was on their side, given to them in the first phase. It did pose a couple of questions, right? Yeah. I even thought that this might be the game that AP Bren can take it away until they locked in that Joy. So, again, interesting choices.
Interesting choices, especially letting go of the Nolan. I think that this is a harsh lesson for all of the teams out there. There will be 2 teams that will eventually be facing Onic. It might be AP Bren, might be Blacklist. I will be calling it now. Nolan will not be available anymore.
Never again.
Never again.
Never
3
again.
times being defeated by Nolan. The first time was a comeback. The following 2 times were snowballs. Kyrie's a beast. And give him the OPest hero of the metagame. he's gonna do magic with it.
I mean, there's even an argument that maybe AP Bren should have taken the blue side and give Kyle, the guy who has made Nolan so precise, so clean, to have that finesse like no other, the name that we have here today. Nolan is disgusting, it's gotta go, but with that being said, once again, M5 is powered by Monton, presented by Kidia, our global presenting partner, supported by ROG, our official gaming phone, Grab, our official Super App partner, and Secret Lab, our official chair partner. Now, up next, we have the last best of 5 series of the tournament between Blacklist International versus AP Bren. I don't know about you, Wolf. You got any thoughts on this?
Oh man, we wanted, the Filipinos wanted a PH versus PH finals, a rematch of the MPL PH Season 12. Unfortunately, happens in the lower brackets, but it is what it is. I'm sure that we're gonna be tuned in.
As both teams are fighting for the last grand final ticket, you do not want to miss this one out. So stay tuned. The M5 World Championship will be right back after these messages.
Hi guys, this is your very own Odin, and we're outside Rizal Memorial Coliseum for the M5 on-ground activation. You can see the sponsors activation booth. We have the food park right there, and we have the main stage for the meet and greet and watch party. And of course, we have M5 corner booth. And here is the ticketing booth. Now, as much as I want to go to every booth that we have, it might take long and I might ride Johnson to do that. Now, let's see the M5 signature wall. And let's grab one lucky fan to get an M5 signed merch by Blacklist International. Hi! Hi! You caught my attention. What's your name?
My name is June.
Hi, June. Obviously, you're supporting Blacklist International. Why?
Yes, because I love watching VY. Their teamwork is the best. So I fully support them.
Okay. Up until now, he's supporting Blacklist International. Who's your bias in the current lineup?
My favorite is Edward. He's very consistent in being explainer.
Wow. Do you want to be a player? It seems like you want to be one.
No, just pretending to be.
Just pretending to be. What's your main hero?
My main hero is Lancelot.
Can I see some Lancelot moves? Oh! Wow! You're ready, huh? Have you signed already in the wall?
Yeah, I did. There's no more space, so...
Okay!
Tiny bit here.
Oh! Look at the Blacklist International area. It's fully occupied by the fans.
I'm glad I'm one of those.
And we're glad we saw you here. And because of that, you are winning an M5 exclusively signed by Blacklist International, courtesy of Kidia. Congratulations, June.
Wow, thank you, Kidia, for this amazing shirt. Thank you.
Are you happy about it?
Yes, of course.
Okay, let's cheer for Blacklist International. When I say Blacklist, you know what to do. Blacklist!
Break the code!
Let's go! Thank you so much, guys. And now let's head back to the Land of Dawn. Back to you, our very own Talents.
my shoulders. Yeah, you know that I'm a soldier. You can keep me off my guard, but you can't keep me from my honor. Nah, 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 I feel like the floor is lava. The energy's getting higher. You're saving my arms. 'Cause I know just what I got. I got you like na na na, and you know I hold the power. This feeling I love. Oh yeah, making my grind good to great. So don't stand in my way. Standing tall and I won't fall over. We are better than great, girl. We are better than great. We stand tall, won't run away. We are burn, nothing gon' change. Great, we are better than great. Can't get it great, I'm better than great. I play my own role, I've been kinda greatest. Transcend myself into this game, yeah. I build a power to dominate fate. Championship mind, no time for the weak. We start to the game, shout, reveal. Better than great, that's how we feel. I feel like the floor is lava. The energy's getting higher. You're saving my arms. 'Cause I know just what I got. I got you like na na na, and you know I hold the power. This feeling I love. Oh yeah, making my grind good to great. So don't stand in my way. Standing tall and I won't fall over. We are better than great, girl. We are better than great. We stand tall, won't run away. We are firm, nothing gon' change. Great, we are better than great. If we stand tall and believe we can make it, you and me, with a sense of urgency, you'll see I'm better than great. I'm better than great. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm better than. Making my grind good to great. So don't stand in my way. Standing tall and I won't fall over. We are better than great, girl. We are better than great. We stand tall, won't run away. We are firm, nothing gon' change. Great, we are better than great.
I am the #1 seed, the champion of the arena. The fans adore me because I've never lost. Yet you are afraid that you will lose everything. Do you ever get scared of losing, Kimmy?
Well, big bro, I think we should cherish the joy and excitement of each game. Not who won or lost.
That's right. I'll strive for victory, but I won't lose myself in its pursuit. World Championship. I'm back.